Hello and welcome everybody. This is Sam, or the Portuguese Mofo here, and I'm here with my brother Yeshua Wood to do another after action report. Before we get into the function of the after action report, the first thing for us to take note of is this is still audio testing. The last after action report we did through the laptop microphone. Now we are doing this one on the microphone we have up here. We've tested different things. We've come to the determination that the microphone is the best one. Now we're just messing with some settings to see if the audio pickup is better. So, with that being said, the final audio test before the other project, and I would say the priority of our projects, gets started. Now, that being said, Yeshua, my brother.
What's up?
Alright, so last time, right? I kind of introduced you loosely to the function of an after action report. Okay. Today we're going to go through that again, right? I've got all of it here, okay, so you can kind of read along as I go. Now for this, for the most part, try and do this kind of like in 5 minutes. I have the after action report and some notes for me that I'll just give to you. Let me kind of go through the whole thing, okay? If we need to, we can bounce back and then just talk about the whole thing after. But from start to finish, let me kind of give you how this might look from a more strict structural standpoint, okay? You know, we know that when we do these things a lot, right? There's the looseness of us just being two friends, right? But in the actual act of functioning or performing something, right, there's, right, concision we want, right, the actual thought process before we say the words, right? In this case, right, utilizing our peers and our friends and different resources for questions, right, and then critically thinking, okay? All these things, right, how they tie in, and we'll be able to bring it all together, have more of a discussion after I give you this full structure of it. So, after action report episode 3, okay? So, if you remember the first question we're asking, right, when we do an after action report, what have I or we been doing or supposed to do, right? So in this situation, because it is in a sense just what I have been doing. Okay, I've been playing Shogun 2 Total War specifically online. Okay, but I have also been making videos specifically trying to do an epic battle series. I've been doing a Fall of the Samurai, which is a version of the game series following that avatar, all right, is what it's called, right, that general per se, through the Avatar Conquest multiplayer battle map, all right, and then I have been specifically working on 2 campaigns within the game, right? The Takeda campaign, which we've discussed, and then I do have another Let's Play that I have been sort of working on when I have a moment, but we'll get there. So those are the things that I have been doing, okay? There's 2 campaigns, right? There's the Fall of the Samurai Avatar Conquest series that I've been doing. There's my regular avatar, or the vanilla avatars, as they would reference it in the game, that I just do most of my battles with when I play, okay? And then I did do an epic battle series, one battle that has a collection of a lot of things going on, and I did one video for that, and I would still like to do the other videos on that. So, that's what I have been doing. What has actually happened, all right? So I have done all of those things. Now, mostly the online multiplayer battles with vanilla and the Fall of Samurai, right? So the actual playing of games and making commentaries or replays after the battle. So I've been doing a lot of those. The campaigns, okay, since I started doing YouTube, the campaign play has slowed way down. And a lot of that is, this happens a decent amount if I get on, right? And again, part of the issue is actually even playing enough to get enough content, right? But I find this specifically with campaigns, I might hop into the campaign because I can't find a multiplayer match, but then I get a multiplayer match. And it's one of those things like, I'm taking multiplayer matches. So I've actually, like, in the campaigns, right, I haven't actually done any forward movement, so to speak. But anyway, so what's actually been happening though, right, more of the multiplayer games than the campaigns, all right, and then the actuality in truth too of me not playing as much as I would like. I'll make reference to that, even in the last week, right, since we did the last after action report. But right, there are priorities well beyond video games. So this is the only game that I really play, right? But people are our priority, right? So we try to take that into account. So the life schedule, right? Just, right, I get up, I go to the gym, I go to work. So finding the appropriate times, right? Where I got that small window where I can throw, I've done some videos in between. I get out of the gym before I go to work. You know, sometimes I'll have a little half-hour window where it's like hop in real quick, make a video, hop off, go to work. And then, you know, when I get out of work, some days it's like I can sit there the whole time until, you know, 4 or 5 hours realistically if I wanted to. Sometimes that's just not the case. So figuring that out, right, is still part of the task. So, and that being said, right, so what has actually happened, right, is I am playing games, but as far as the ambitions maybe that we have go, scheduling is always going to be our greatest probably issue, right? You know, I always say, we got all our whole lives to do this. And you'll always tell me, we got about 30 years. And I'll say, fuck you. We got 60 to 90, motherfucker. But at the end of the day, right, there is the thing, right? Like, this isn't supposed to be stressful, right? We have enough things going on, and this is added stuff. So keeping it in the right place. So, with that being said, right, so those are the things that have actually been happening per se since I started this process, right? But even this last week, right, it was even a little bit of a frustration point for me this week, right? You know, when we get inappropriately frustrated about things, you know, it's like, I shouldn't be mad about this, I shouldn't even care, but I am irked right now, right? Having some of those moments this week, right? And then pretty quickly, we're pretty resilient about it. We'll turn it around and laugh at ourselves. Just like, why do I even care? What does it matter? Just, right? To a degree, it matters to us. So, with that being said, right? What did I or we do well, right? In this instance, I, okay? And again, right? Usually you're looking for 3 things to reference here, all right? So I have 3 things here, okay, in which I will speak to, right? First thing is patience. That has gone well, right? Not only to the scheduling thing that I was just talking to, but actually my actual gameplay, like how I'm playing the game. Right. Now, when I was first playing the game, a lot of the approach I would take was rush and to try to out-action people. Move fast, move quick, get a lot of moves happening, and I was playing a lot of the Fall of the Samurai armies, okay, to just put it simply for you, alright, it's more complex than this, but guns versus swords, alright? So I would be the swords army versus the guns army. Well, where are swords more effective than guns, and where are guns more effective than swords, Yeshuas? Just tell me that from a basic standpoint.
Nowhere. Guns would be stronger in every direction than air or whatever.
To a point, but alright, we're talking about matchlocks, okay, or black gunpowder weapons, okay?
Oh, gunpowder. Okay, I thought you meant like a regular
So,
gun.
but here's the deal, right? So the point is, though, right? simply put, a gun is good at range, though, right? I can shoot you from a far number away, a far amount away, okay, as long as I can see you, bang, alright? And your armor, everything else that you're wearing, I mean, we have armor now, right? But, like, during medieval Japan, right, they didn't have armor that was, and really I should say a little past medieval Japan, right? But their armor wasn't stopping bullets, okay? So, my patience within the game, because my strength definitely at the start was to rush the enemy. Where I'm going to get up into you, I am going to try and be disruptive now. It worked really well at the start, you know what I mean? Before I started playing, good, what I will say are higher level players, right? Who are very good with their micro, making very good decisions in the moments, and precise decisions, moving them into the right locations, right? I have gotten a lot better with my patience of, right, not engaging too fast, disengaging when appropriate, right? This would be more improved, but my precision needs to get better. We'll get to that. But my patience has gotten much better, right? Because one thing is I would win a lot of battles pretty overwhelmingly, but against especially good players, or because I'd rush so quick, right? Sometimes, like, some battles took literally like 60 seconds. Like, rushing, I'm moving, I get into the fight so quick, but I lost every engagement. Every engagement, none of them were good picks, and all my guys got slaughtered like that. You know what I mean? So some of those things. But my patience has improved, I think, in the course of, since making these videos, right? Trying to be a student of, right, my strengths, my weaknesses, those types of things. Things that are still going well, community, right? Like, I got a partner for a tournament, but, a 2v2 tournament. Yes.
Just kidding.
You got me back. Oh, shit. Just remember, you have a partner, and even though she's a girl, makes you gay. Happy, too, Too funny. Here we go. This is where the controversy begins. We're getting too loose. It's supposed to be strict.
You got a partner in the game.
Right? So, right, the continuing of the building of community. Right? And playing with different guys, that, right, again, at the end of the day, they play well, they try to do good things, but also, like, keeping, right, the spirit of competition in a good place, too. Like, remembering it's a game, we're all trying to do better, and of course, right, everybody wants to win, right? Nobody actually wants to lose things, but I think that still in general goes really well. And, right, it's like when you're playing good players and having good games, right, even the loss, like, can be enjoyable, right? Because especially, like, when you're just putting it in place of, like, we're playing a game. And in truth, right, because of how this game works, right, like, I could just build an army, you build an army, and you build the perfect army to counter my army. And barring you literally being dumb, it's like one of those things. Like, if you're a good player and you built the perfect counter army to the army that I brought, okay, like, literally barring you not trying to win, it's going to be very hard for me to win. Sometimes that's how that goes, right? And then there's, like, retainers and certain things, right? So actually just having a good understanding of, like, sometimes it's not always how you played is why you lost either, right? So things like that. But the community, I think that still is something that continues to go well. So, and then the last thing for me is the determination of audio versus using my laptop microphone versus the headset. Okay, so, and I put it in a well point just because I figured out, and it was literally this morning, the difference of last night or yesterday, recording some stuff yesterday and recording stuff of, it's just a little too choppy on the computer audio. It's not consistent enough. Like, sometimes it sounds really good, sometimes it doesn't. Now, one thing that's interesting, right, is when we do like the teams meeting for
right
versus wrong versus reality. Yep. So for whatever reason, right, and I think if I had to guess, it probably has to do with power draws and the computer itself from OBS, the game playing, me having other things up.
Are you also streaming it online?
Well, I'm not like live streaming, but right, it's recording, right? The computer itself is recording. You know, I might have my files and things open, the game open, the chats open too, maybe, right? So there's just multiple things going on the computer that might have something to do with it, right? But when I put in the headset,
efficient input and output.
right, but the headset clears it all up, and even to the point of like a test that I was able to do this week, right, with my roommate, like, and you know, like I've said, things going on, whatnot around me. With the headset, I can record even now. If there's a movie going on, it has this at a certain level, it'll still pick it up a little bit. But I did notice that usually it's muffled out enough between the game and my headset. But like an easy way to improve upon like that piece of it when the time becomes right is just to relocate within my apartment, right? Like into my bedroom or something. It's as simple as me taking a certain amount of time to get things to people, right? To other brothers that I have. Like, you know, my apartment's a little bit of a storage place right now, which is fine.
Why don't you just have DJ look at it?
So, well, that's a different discussion for another time. But it's one of those things though, like, that's not because it's the issue of just like, right, I already understand the computer one. The talking to my roommate, all right, call sign DJ, all right. He has plenty of his own stuff to worry about. And part, right, of the life scheduling thing, right? Again, people are the priority, right? So there's things that, right, those for the improvement side of that, right? The audio stuff, there's not much from a technical standpoint. He's going to help me from there. You know what I mean? But as far as just me during the day or doing stuff and he's doing stuff, right? Because, like, there's the thing of you can hop in or I could have stuff going on around me, right? But the focus should still be on the video, right? So with DJ right now, that the solution is just to go into my bedroom, right? And that's all it is, because at the end of the day, right, like where I do it right now in my main living space, right, if the TV is on, and right now we've got a sub and all this other stuff, right, that can be a lot of noise.
Yeah.
That definitely can't work with the computer mic.
The
headset.
off each other.
Right. So, but at the end of the day, dude, and again, this is just a lot of life stuff. This is getting away. I'm kind of upset that you brought up my roommate. I'm not, though. But just because we're getting away from where I wanted to focus on this. But because in truth, that is like one of the struggles for making this happen right now.
Yeah.
Right? I started this. I was alone in my space. But now my space, which it always will be for other people too, no matter what, right? A call to service.
Yes.
It is what it is, buddy. It's one of those things I've accepted in my life, right? But even like, dude, he wants to do a ton of stuff with us in this right now, but like we all need to figure out what's right for us in certain things, right? So there's the thing, like that's just been a big just thing of, right, life figuring it out, right? Some brothers living with each other every day, going through fucking some struggles and figuring it out, right? Like that's definitely like a thing to improve upon for like both of us, right? But dude, like I'll put it like this, him worrying about my audio stuff, he needs to worry about his audio stuff.
What are you talking about?
Me and DJ.
Why does he need to worry about his audio? What is wrong with his audio?
And again, That's why I just wish you didn't bring them up.
I'm sorry.
It's not an issue, right? This just isn't what we're trying to do in this conversation right now.
That's true. Go ahead.
Right, this is more like our other podcast stuff. I know, and that's why I wanted you to wait till the end, pretty much, kind of let me riff here. So, that's all right. This is why we're doing this. This is why we're continuing to practice. So, again, to getting into things to improve upon, right? Breathing. Holy smokes. It's like I thought I was doing better, and then I recorded a few yesterday, and it wasn't very good on my end. I didn't feel like. So that's still something to, just when I'm playing, right? And there's a thing of you taking deep breaths, right? And I might do it here, but that's not picking it up, right? But when I have a microphone right here, it picks it up. So just things to continue to think about while I'm doing it. Whether that's just breathing practices or certain things, right? But yeah, right? It sounded pretty bad in the last videos that I did, or to me it did anyways, compared to some other ones. So, right, it's just continuing to be conscious of it. SOPs, so standard operating procedures, all right? What do I mean by this? Actively when I'm playing a match or a battle, what is my standard operating procedure? All right, how am I going about the functions of action? Okay, so for an example, okay, I'll give the example. I'll go to a different Total War game, Medieval 2, right now, okay? But a standard operating procedure for me as far as working the campaign map, like in Medieval 2, okay, this is pretty standard to how it works and functions for me, is I think of the map like a clock, okay, or my area, my landhold, and I start at 12 o'clock at 6 o'clock on the clock, right, or the bottom of the clock, and I go around my entire land or territory, right, clockwise, all right, until I make it all the way around my entire area to make sure, right, I do all the tasks and I don't miss anything, right, along the way, right? That's a standard operating procedure for me, within a campaign. On Medieval 2 specifically, Shogun 2 is a little different, okay? And usually Shogun 2, it kind of depends on what faction I am, but kind of like reading right to left, left to right type of thing, okay? And within battles, I will say this, I haven't specifically developed a standard operating procedure in how I conduct actions, right? Do I work from left side to the right side of the army? Do I work inside out? Giving commands? Is it all certain groups? You can put them in different groups. Am I going group to group to group? Am I cycling through, right? Or, because right now for me it's just a little bit more random, right? It's more reactionary rather than standard operating procedure and then reacting based off of the operating procedure, right? So in the military, okay, you're going to have standard operating procedures for how you do everything so that when the chaos starts, okay, and you are making reactive moves and doing things maybe outside of the plan, the strategy, the mission, you have all these other standard operating procedures to bounce back on, all right, to be grounded in, or that you're always repping so that when the shit gets chaotic, all right, you're not thinking about how to, reload your weapon or whatever. You're just doing it, right? Because these standard operating procedures are just so ingrained in your head. So that is something that I've been thinking about. Well, repetition of the actual function, right? So, to get a Kimura. Now, Jiu-Jitsu is a little hard because there's so much free flow to it, but, right, there's a certain, let's just say you get to half guard, right? You're in half guard in a certain position, right? If you want to get to Kimura, you almost probably, you might not be able to describe it in your head, but if you thought through the process and, right, we're having to teach it, right? Even when we do jiu-jitsu and stuff, I try to have you do this. Hey, talk me through what you're doing. What are the standard operating procedures you're doing in order to get yourself to that position, right? I talk you through that a lot, right, to try and help you, because when you can start to do that, right, now all of a sudden you'll just you'll be able to recognize, hey, like, all right, when I'm trying to do these things, all right, these are the steps I'm trying to do. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. Okay? Like, to give an example, in the Army, right? Now, they actually changed it. Maybe they moved it back to sports, right? But if you have a weapons malfunction, okay? You go through the acronym sports in your head, okay? Sports. Let's see how my memory is. So this is what you do, right? Your M4, your M16, right? Depending on the time, the assault rifle, all right? Your primary weapon. If it jams when you're in a fight, okay? What are you gonna do? Sports. It's an acronym. SPORTS. So the first thing is you're gonna put it on safe, actually, if you can. If it can't go on safe, right? Yep, you're gonna slap the magazine.
With the S?
S. The first S is slap.
Is it
All right, safe and
sports?
slap. Sports, like playing sports.
Okay.
Okay? Right, anytime you have a weapon, right, you're always trying to make sure safety is on or off accordingly.
Got it.
Okay, right? If you're not intending to shoot something, it should be on safe, right? Those types of things. But, okay, sports. Put it on safe if you can't put it on safe, because often you won't be able to. Okay? We're going to continue through the sports. So slap, right? We're going to slap the magazine, okay, just to see if it needed to get seated farther into the... Sometimes you just didn't seat it all the way, okay? So you're going to slap, all right?
Slap.
P. Yep, just call it slap.
That's for P.
No, that's S.
Still
P.
Safety and slap.
Yep, you can think of both. Like, say it's just for slap, but we always talk about checking the safety, right?
Got it.
Because checking the safety on your gun, that is like the standard operating procedure for your weapon, right? Muzzle, all right, muzzle direction and safety on your weapon, right? We don't want to be flashing our friends, right? I don't want to inadvertently point a gun at you, you know what I mean, right? So things like that. So we have slap, we have pull, all right, P, pull, all right, what you're doing is pulling back on the charging handle, all right, so that you can look inside to see the jam, okay, or that would be O, observe, all right, so you pull, right, on the charging handle, O is observe, so you're observing into, all right, the chamber itself and down the barrel, seeing if it did actually get jammed up, right? If it was a double feed, right? It fed 2 bullets.
Observe.
Observe. OBSERVE. To observe it, right?
Observe.
Yep.
Okay.
So observe. And then R is release. So you're gonna release, all right, the pull, because if you pull it, right, and it wasn't jammed, it'll release the bullet, okay? The observe, right, if you see it's jammed, you're just gonna get those bullets out, all right? You're gonna release the charging handle, right, because that reloads the weapon, okay, with the, assuming your magazine's in there, okay? So you have release, and then you have the tap, okay? So there's a little, I can't think of the exact word for it, but on the side of, right, an AAR, an M16, an M4, all right, there's a little, it's like a little button that you can tap that, it just basically has like a little needle that'll go into the chamber itself, and it can like, maybe like knock the bullet just like sort of into place or whatever. So then you have that, all right, and then the last S.
Wait, what was the T again? The
Tap.
The tap.
Tap, just tap, and there's a little mechanism, I can't think of the actual word
And
for
what was
it.
the S again? The last one?
I want you to guess it.
Shoot.
Yeah, shoot. Shoot. So that was completely off the dome piece, buddy. So let me just make sure I got that right for you. Let me do a quick Google search here.
Sport. Safety slap. Pull. Observe. Release. tap, shoot.
Slap, pull, observe, release, tap, shoot, baby, or squeeze. Okay, squeeze the trigger. All right. Yep, I nailed it. So I'm glad I did do that. So good. The memory, right? The recall. One thing we're trying to say I do pretty well for the other podcast worked there. So that's good. Now to get back, right, to things to improve on. Okay. So standard operating procedures, right? And part of that is me determining one. Okay. So now things you improve on, units. I put units here, as in the individual units, the building of veteran units, and just good Army compositions, as well as being good with like their special abilities if they have them. All right, being able to hotkey those things and use them at the right and effective times. It kind of plays into the SOPs thing. Okay, so but just continued things to improve upon. I also put APMs, or actions per minute, right? And that is more of a consistency thing, of right reps. But there's some days where I feel like it is on point, and other days I feel like I'm slow. Now, one thing that is for sure, if I'm live commentating, I am definitely slower than if I am just playing. So, right, if I'm trying to talk through, like I am playing and trying to talk, right, because I'm recording, I am definitely much less precise when I do that, right? Which is understandable, but something to continue to work and improve on, right? So then with that, although I don't know if it's necessarily a thing to improve upon, but it is something that would help me improve in my play, and that's getting the debug camera, which just allows me to go much higher. Okay.
The debug camera?
Yep. Debug. I guess it's called that, right? Because it's how you run the game, which you have to run on Windows. I don't think you need a mod per se, but what it basically does, right? Like when you're in the game, the camera can only go so high, and then the camera can only go so low. What happens when you do that is that restriction's taken off, so you can go all the way up here, so now you can really see everything, which is, especially in big battles, right? It's definitely a nice thing to have, right? Being able to see everything. You're hearing, I'm having chats come in. It's coming off the yeah.
What the hell's going on here?
That's just Steam chats. So yeah, I should just turn that off. But yeah, let's do this. We don't need to keep listening to that come in. But so yeah, the debug camera, right? And even for the stuff that we want to eventually make some more edited stuff for, right? So the epic battles, the campaigns, right? I've already had discussion with you, like that camera could be really helpful for those situations potentially as well.
You can get as close as we want, we can go as far as high.
Now I'll say this, as
a lot
far
of the
as
shots in those battles, we need a bird eye view, and that allows you to go a lot higher.
well, you know, and the game is a bird eye view, but correct,
Yeah.
just right. We can get more, just more for as far as just camera shots, right, in general. Now, but there's a definite thing, and I do know
we
this.
can definitely do it with the regular camera they have.
It's an easy way for me to improve at the game pretty quickly. Now there is this, right? Because there's the opportunity to go too far down underneath the map, I guess, right, when you have it. Okay, so the management of the camera too, there is, I would say, probably a little bit of skill involved in that. Nothing crazy, but right, even the precision of making sure I don't scroll too far down when I'm in a battle, so I go underneath the map and now I can't see nothing. Things like that, right? So, and
But you
right,
can
I haven't.
adjust the level of the sensitivity, right?
Well, I think that's kind of the point of it is no, because what it does when you have the debug camera going when it's running in Windows mode, it just like eliminates those limits completely. Because it has limits like when it's on normal, and then I don't even think it's like a mod. You just run the game in Windows, so like rather than PowerPoint being like this, it would, you'd be able to exit out of the corner, right? it's running it in the window rather than it just taking up the entire operation of the screen. So
Yeah, I don't exactly know how they work, but
right, so that's yeah, and I was like, it's not so important for you to understand how it works, but for me, it will be at a point. I think right whenever we find the time, and part of me's thinking of just keeping the form of how I'm playing without it until we get into that. But then there's also just the thing of like I could just start getting into it and getting used to it right from the get go.
that's the best way to go about it.
Right. But for me, that's still like I'm not in any rush to get into the debug camera yet. However, like I might do it. It'd just be a time when I'm finally like,
What is it?
no, it's nothing. It's just literally me doing certain things on my
It's
computer.
free?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. No, it's just me doing certain things on the computer.
Nice.
That's just it's literally just a decision point for me, or like to just start doing it, or when we get to the point when we're ready to start
If you don't like it,
Have
you
some
just
time.
go back to the regular game, obviously.
the camera. Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. No, it's very simple. Yeah, it's not a hard thing to do.
Okay.
I just haven't done it yet, but we have discussed it, and from playing multiplayer online against people, it is super helpful to be able to go out, because at the end of the day, I don't need to see what they're doing on the ground, right? This is like the fun parts of, the officer corps and the enlisted corps, right? It's and military, call it sociopathology, psychology, all of it, right? But I don't need to see what, my man Yeshuas is doing as an individual soldier on the ground. I need to see the entire army and what they're doing, right? So the debug camera can be really helpful for that. Thank God we don't actually, like if I had ever, didn't do whatever I did to the path of officership or whatever, right? Like in truth, right, having that view of the battlefield, right, so that you can see everyone and give commands. I mean, on a computer, right, it's easy. Mouse, click here, I can see everything, right? And just imagine in real life, though, it's like, hey, I'm watching it all unfold, and then I gotta call Lieutenant Yeshuas on the ground and be like, hey, bud, all right, we got some, armor moving
I don't think they're too far
to
off.
your west. Oh, well, here's the thing, right? Like, the truth is, like, in real war, right? Like,
They have the
I
satellite.
might, like, be, if I was your general, okay? I'd be like, hey, this is, like, the intelligence that we have, and moving, there's armor coming from the west or whatever it is, okay? And trying to give you ideas, but then at the end of the day, like, right, hopefully me as a good general is going to be like, hey, give me an update on everything you're seeing, though. What is going on? Like, what are the decisions you're going to make? Because, like, right at the end of the day, dude, you're over, let's just put it like this, okay? I'm sitting here, right, we're on a phone call, all right? You're over wherever, okay? And you're about to
Station
get
somewhere, not whatever.
we're not even talking about a station. Let's just say you're at the pack. You're at the park, okay? Someone comes up to you, begins the confrontation. We could call it verbal or physical, okay? Begins a confrontation. All right. Especially let's go with words more than fighting, right? Let's say you get into some sort of conversation or a debate with someone, right? Okay. Now in this moment, and I said before, like maybe we're on the phone or something, but we're not. But you're just off doing whatever, I'm off doing whatever. Right now our communication isn't direct, nor is our vicinity direct. Okay? As someone who talks to you a lot about language and the use of language and how do you properly talk to, debate, challenge, right? All those things. In that moment, okay, you might be like, in that discussion, like, man, I wish Sam was here to help. But what's the truth of the matter? I'm not there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be able to do and conduct the operation yourself, right? That's why we train and do things. So in the same breath, right? That analogy I'm using, like a general and a junior officer in the Army, or even just the soldiers, right? Okay. Ideally, your general was eventually down here doing these things that all the guys at the bottom are doing, but he's not anymore, right? He's overseeing the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a big
Now,
fight now with the office.
do you think these guys should be able to act and make moves without him telling them to do things, or they should only do anything if he says to do it? How do you think that should go?
I don't know, depend on the protocol. They always have protocol. If he's not there fit to lead,
Yes.
the second guy will be, despite the rank. Everybody has,
You're actually starting to hit on
everybody
something.
has a hierarchy, even from the lowest guy to the highest guy who've been there the same day, who've
Good.
been there earlier.
Good.
Everybody
So,
have a hierarchy.
right.
So if he leaves, go for a couple of days somewhere, the Bahama, whatever, I don't know, and the next guy will be in charge. This guy, or this guy, or this guy, it's this guy.
So now this
Right.
is where you're getting down into this guy not micromanaging, macromanaging, allowing them to micromanage themselves. But that's chain of command stuff. And, right, it's funny you bring that up, right? Because, all right, we got the platoon over here, we got the general over here, all right? In the platoon, you have a platoon commander. Then you're going to have a platoon sergeant, all right? And you're going to have the different echelons going down, all right? But yes, there is an operation of, hey, Lieutenant Joe goes down, who's next in charge? It's Sergeant Green, okay, or whoever. And people need to know each other's jobs. But actually, the point, right, of this discussion, where we're tangenting a little bit, but, you know, it all has to do with war,
Yeah, you gotta go
combat,
finish
and
this. I have
things.
so much questions.
So, the whole thing, though, is in truth, right? Micromanaging in war doesn't work. You have to give your leaders underneath you. You have to give the soldiers, right, the
Maybe
ability to
farming.
act and make decisions.
Maybe farming.
Where micromanagement would be good.
Yeah.
Well,
But I'm not sure exactly how.
I mean, we'll talk into the balances of macro and micromanagement at another point,
Okay.
right? And we're kind of touching on that, right? But not to stray too far from
Yeah.
the subject of war. Not that farming absolutely has to do with war, right? It all does. But
It does. That's why
So-
we started.
But I guess, right, the point, right? We were talking about the debug camera. We ended up talking about
Yeah.
micro versus macro
Sorry.
management,
Keep going.
which is okay. This is part of this process, right? So figuring it out.
Are you still what I do well?
No, we're on the improves. Thank you.
I thought so.
Thank you.
Okay.
We are on the
I'm
improves.
sorry. Just
Hey,
like, I've been reading the same
Just-
line. I'm
yeah,
like,
just-
this is a long
just say it.
improval.
Just say it.
No, I just like you have a lot thing to improve. I mean, a lot thing to do well. Like,
No, yeah. It's more like I got a lot of things to improve on.
Yeah.
And we know that. And we'll also, especially when we get started in the real podcast, talk about the balance of grace and, like, being hard on yourself, right? Or trying to hold yourself accountable, but also being, you know, giving yourself grace and forgiveness,
Yeah.
right? Again, another question, or another discussion. So the debug camera, we talked about the hotkeys, the actions per minute. Okay, the last thing really to talk about. Okay, so fighting battles against the AI online and ways to work the online multiplayer for people just getting in. Like, you can technically play it online and multiplayer just against the AI and improve that. So that's something less of a, like, I guess this is less of an improve upon, but other things I'm thinking about either making a video for or trying for, right? Or trying to do. So doing some of that stuff, because there's ways to, right, give yourself a ton of veteran units or just different things like within a video game, right? Like video games, not to say corrupt, but you can just like do things with game files and different things, or do little tricks within a game to activate a certain response from the game. Right, so like how to play the AI and still get experience in a multiplayer battle against the AI, even though you're not playing a human. Because technically you only get experience for your avatar if you play against a human. But you can do certain things to play against the AI where it'll give you experience as if you were playing a human player. So some of those things, just because and there's, the information is online, right? I haven't seen a video display of it because I figured out how to do it right by researching it and finding it written out how to do it online. There might be a video out there, I just haven't seen it or come across it. I can't say I've aggressively searched for it either. But yeah, that's just something I'm thinking about. And then kind of with the debug camera, although the debug camera isn't a mod, potential mods, right, way to modify the game or add features. So those are more just two things to think about for me, even though I did put them in the improve section. So just a quick note, we could have been better on this one for the improvement. The concision, right? That was definitely not as concise as I was hoping we would do it, right? And but if I were to give you the concise action of it, really what I should have done was this. All right, I should have been like, what have I been doing? I've been playing online multiplayer battles. I've made an epic battle video. I've done enough Follow the Samurai series, and I've been working on 2 specific campaigns. All right, what has actually happened? I've been mostly playing the online multiplayer battles. I haven't done enough for the epic battle series, but I'm still trying to figure out exactly what I need to do for that. I've been doing enough of the Follow the Samurai, I think, and not enough of the campaigns, right? Or the things that have happened. Things I've done well, the patience, the community, and the audio determination of the headset versus my actual computer mic is going to be the route to go. And then things to improve upon, right? My breathing, all that stuff is still going on. I thought I was getting better, but then seemed like I took a couple steps back yesterday, which we know sometimes that's just how the growth process goes. Right, SOPs, right, figuring out some standard operating procedures I want to build for myself, right, just the continued improvement of units, decision making, building them, putting them together, all those types of things, the hotkeys, the actions per minute, and then the use of the debug camera. And then actually the one thing I didn't talk about was the camera space, but we actually talked about it the other day, but movie clips, right? For me to do that editing and stuff, it takes up a little too much space where it kind of messes up my ability to move and download other files because it basically maxes out the computer's hard drive, which this is a great laptop, but that was the one thing, but it was the one thing I sacrificed when I bought it was I'll get a smaller hard drive because I can use external hard drives, right? And this was before I was thinking about making videos and stuff with you. So, and literally the only issue that I have in technicality right now is having a software, right, where I can cut, clip, and I know I can do all that stuff technically on YouTube, right?
Funny software is like Final, DaVinci Resolve, Final Cut Pro. All
No.
those are free software.
No, it's not. It's not free. It doesn't. The money has nothing to do with it, buddy. It is computer space.
That's
what I'm saying. I had to delete clips because it's so much space that
I thought you said editing software. You meant to say the space, the terabyte or hard drive, or
correct. Well, yeah, because the editing software is too big.
Yeah,
it takes up too much space.
Yeah,
and well, that's the thing. It's like I have to do a pretty. To see if I even have the proper space, I gotta do a pretty, I feel like deep diagnostic on what is taking up all the space. Correct. And I did not a deep dive, but I did a quick look through the other day, and that's the thing. It's like right now, it's like, man, there's not a whole lot of stuff to delete that would make a difference.
So what's the best way to go about it?
So for now, for now, to be honest, it's one of those things that I am not as worried about, because when we get to the time when I really need to do that, the thing that's kind of frustrating is it's definitely going to slow down my epic battle creation. because that one I want to cut and clip.
But
But
how
I
do
do
you fix
think-
it anyway? How do you fix it? Like, would it be easier to fix it buying a hard drive for it, or is it?
Well, I'd have to
hard drive
bring in my
space?
computer. The cloud space could be an
Like, what is
option.
fast way and what is the proper option? That's the because for me, for a lot of my visual effect stuff, I'd rather have SSD card, SSD
Yeah.
drive, so I can just plug it in, take that drive anywhere I want it, and just stay at the cloud. Because then I have to log in, I need the internet, I need all that, and then obviously most of the time,
The thing is, though, right? Like having it in the cloud, with how the cloud works, usually puts it on the computer. But having a software in the cloud, I don't think works in the sense like I can't download, you know.
I don't know how that works.
Yeah, like I can't. I'm pretty sure like it's like I'm not downloading Microsoft Clips to like Google Chrome or to my Google Drive. You know, so
It's probably doable, I'm sure, but it's just.
I don't-
not
I
for us
don't-
now.
yeah. Well, I just don't know how that would, because like at the end of the day, you might as well just go on to an online website that does clipping or writing, or I might as well just do it on YouTube, because YouTube I can do some of that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And besides, YouTube have so much storage space as it is.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's like we don't
Right.
need storage space. So
Well, you
I
do,
might
because if you move all those things that is inside your computer into that storage, your computer should have free enough space for the
that's
software.
yeah, that's not the YouTube storage. It doesn't matter in the sense of like it's not even something to think or worry about. That's all I mean,
Okay.
because it's just there. So it's just putting videos in there. But actually going into the editor and doing all that stuff, I've messed around with it a little bit. I've done some stuff, but I'd have to just mess around with it some more, right? And that's time. And that's like another thing, dude, of right, like the truth of just like I'd rather just like play matches a lot of times and do those types of levels of editing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just because that was never really a goal or drive of mine in my life, right?
No.
But I do like making the videos. I like the analysis and breakdown, right? The editing part of it definitely isn't my favorite, for sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But that's
nobody's
where
favorite editing.
a big part of it, like my determination on that stuff anyways, though, because it would be funner and more enjoyable and probably of way more value, is just wait until we have the chance to,
Like storyboard and stuff.
right, put those things
Then you'd
together.
be into editing that, at least look at it over.
Right, and like just things that like I'm not super familiar with. Like you'll just be like, oh, just do this, that, and it'll be like, oh, that was simple. Like you know how those things can go
And I
sometimes.
have cloud stuff I wanted to show you anyway.
Right.
Like, but later on. Anyway, almost
So-
done with this because I have a couple questions.
Yeah, dude, we are done, right? I just gave you the concision.
Yeah.
We're in discussion mode now. We're just
Okay.
talking.
Let me ask a couple questions. Give me like a 2 to 3 sentence. What exactly my question are? For example, what is campaigns?
The campaign. So it's just the game mode in the game, right? So like I showed you where I had the whole map of Japan.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
That's the campaign.
So you're
Versus
trying
just
to
me
take over
playing
that-
battles.
Taking over the whole Japan. That's the campaign. Or
Yeah, like so specifically in Shogun 2, you take control of a clan, all right, that exists within Japan during the Sengoku Jidai, all right, period. Okay, the Civil War going on in Japan, okay. That would eventually bring about the Tokugawa shogunate, okay, Tokugawa being a clan, all right. That's what the campaign is.
Okay. How long is like a match or a game typically?
5 to 20 minutes is how I'll say is one battle. 5 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
In general. Now, if it's like if you're getting into 3v3s, 3v4 or 4v4s, they could be 30 minutes, but even then they'll still usually take about, you know, long end is 20 minutes, short end like 5 minutes for a battle in general.
What is the level of the game? Like, for example, do they have like, if I started like my own army now, would I be obviously level 1 and you be level 5 or 500? Like,
Yeah,
is that
so,
how it
I
works? So
mean-
would I ever fight you because I'm a new guy, or do I have
Yeah,
to?
I mean, dude, we could just hop on and just fight at any time. It's not a tier system. It's not like you can only play if people have the same skill level.
So I
It's
just
not
have to
like
be
that.
really good at strategizing with the.
No,
with
you
my
can
guy.
suck, and we like it doesn't matter, dude. It's just
And
like
then the next question I have is like, what is the point?
all right.
Really, what is the
So
point?
what is the level of the game, and what is the point?
Yeah, what is the point?
What is the point of me doing this at all?
Yeah,
Oh.
like the whole thing. Just
All
like,
right, buddy. Let's get down the old fucking rabbit hole on this one. What is the point of me even doing this? Okay, so to go back to your first question, really you're talking about, is there tiers of levels of talent or skill for players? Yes, it has nothing to do with the in-game system of leveling up your avatar or anything like that, right? It actually just comes down to your ability to play. So is there an actual pro circuit for Total War games? From what I understand, no. Like, there isn't a there's professional gaming
Yeah.
all over the world.
Yeah.
We know that. Total War, the game itself, from what I understand, has never had an official pro circuit. But within the Total War community, per se, right, there is certain recognizable things of, not that it's tiered in players or whatever, but like of skill level. Because people host tournaments, and there are money prizes and certain things like that. And
So if you
there's even like, and I know out in Europe, and most specifically Europe, right, that community is larger, where I bet you, right, I don't really know, but going to certain forums, like, they probably do have a tiered system of, like, you know, who's considered pro players, not like, and even I hear some people talk about it, but also, like, right, the people that are often referenced as pro players, per se, okay, will sit there and be like, no, I'm not a pro. Because, like, at the end of the day, nobody does this, like, professionally as a job, right?
Yeah.
Like, nobody's actually actively going to support their lives based off of playing the game.
Yeah.
Or making, like, even those that have technically made money off the game and online, like, it's
not things
It's
to live off. You can't pay.
change. It's pocket change, really.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it could be substantial, right? Like $300 or whatever, but
How often would you make that $300?
but
Every week?
that's no.
Exactly. So it
No.
doesn't become a job. It's not
Correct, right? So
Alright,
I
so-
think that's where you were going along with that line. So what
Yes.
is the point?
Yes.
What is the point, buddy, of me fucking doing this right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good fucking question, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Because
you know,
the way how I see it is, the point of this question is, you're going through a lot of stress. You're going through a lot of this obstacle, jumping over things, thinking about time, worrying about getting opportunity to play the thing, to post the stuff, to edit it. Like, there's a lot of mentality going through it.
Welcome
I'm like,
life.
what's the point? You know?
What is the point? All
That's
right.
kind of the whole point.
Let me
I'm
walk
asking.
you through. And
Especially, there's nothing to.
I have talked to you about the point of doing this.
For you to be better at public speaking.
So, there's multiple things
Okay.
that's going on
Give me
as
three
to
of them.
why I'm doing this. I'm going to give you all of them,
Okay.
so it's on the record.
Okay.
The first reason, okay, again, to my brother who has the same name and likeness of you, the first thing was just, hey, it's an option for something to do even if you're not specifically doing anything else. If you're playing games, just record your games, right? Post it, see what happens. There's an opportunity there to maybe do something. So might as well. First. Second. Okay. We have been discussing the podcast for a long time. And all the things that we are going to talk about and approach within the Our Story podcast that we have been creating for a long time. So, a big discussion we know we can't even avoid in that discussion is the discussion of war. Okay? This keeps me engaged to a certain degree in that mode. Although we know I don't really consider myself a veteran, it does keep me engaged in, tactical thinking and functioning, right? I just enjoy it. It's the only video game I play, right? So it's like the actual I enjoy playing the game, okay? But also, right, as we have talked about a lot of this stuff, right? The credentials that we have, like why are we even doing this, okay? In all technicality, right, the only credential I'm bringing to the table is the fact that I have a bachelor's in history, right? You're bringing to the table, right? I mean, we're bringing more than that, but like you have a bachelor's in CGI and videography, right? Animation and what was it? What does it say on your diploma again?
Animation and visual effects.
Animation and visual effects.
Bachelor of Fine Arts.
Right?
Animation and visual effects.
So, this, right, and something where we've even discussed about, right, because of AI and some of the things going on.
My job's totally gone.
Right, your job is, yeah, you might as well, right?
All goodbye.
We thought my degree was pointless.
It takes me like 7 weeks to make one beautiful image, and that's not moving, that's not animated, that's just a still image.
Right.
That AI can create things like I can't even simulate really that. But it's not artistic. There's no artistic. It's just puking out the same vomit color. It's good. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's fine. Any amateur person can say, "Wow," it would be enthusiastic. But for somebody like me, there's nothing to do with Michael Bay movie to AI movie. There's nothing.
Right.
But beside the point. Go ahead. Sorry.
In this, right? Me doing this and some of the stuff we've talked about gives you an opportunity to do some of that stuff. Like we've talked about building the storyboard, okay, and doing some of the stuff that's going to contribute to the storytelling, I guess, that we, in a sense, are going to be taking on, all right? So, all right, and then, okay, the final point is this. I'm only gonna, or at least right now, the plan in my head is to only do this until the next Total War game comes out. All right, and I'll just sort of make this statement now. I was gonna wait for the first episode, but we're here and we're doing this now. And with everything going on in the world, all right, and without people within our nation, people asking me if I'm going back, all this stuff, dude.
Yeah, being drafted.
There's a presentation and a discussion about war that we're gonna have. And this game, a lot of people think if this company, Creative Assembly, messes up Medieval 3 Total War, their next game, or Total War Medieval 3, excuse me, this company and this game series might die. Be gone, be done.
Why?
If they don't make what is determined to be a quality game. Because they have just call it all the issues of our world, but people just think that they're just trying to steal everyone's money, they're putting out bad games, they're just doing the classic everything in the game, you have to buy every little thing, right? The DLCs, and right? That's everything. The microtransactions, all that, right? Mm-hmm. Down this path that makes a lot of people upset, but regardless, right? I hope they do a great job with Medieval 3 Total War. Like, actually, I enjoy the games, but holy shit, there's an issue in the fact that, like, a game called Total War is my favorite game, and it's actually the only game I could care to play. And is war a good thing? Well, it's like, is Total War games, are they a good game? Well, it's a game called Total War, so if we're just going to talk about morals and ethics, we should just say it's bad. It's a bad game. It's called Total War. Evil, bad, wrong, right?
We'll discuss that right versus wrong versus reality.
Well, and in the whole thing, right? But even, right? So it's like, if we want to look at it, it's a bad game, right? But, so there's the thing, too, of like, hey, you know what? I guess if this game series dies, is it really a bad thing? But there's also the presentation of, should we continue just the simulation of war, or should we just continue doing it outright? For real, you know what I mean? Am I more morally correct for just wanting to play Total War, or am I more morally correct for wanting to go and act out Total War against real humans?
It doesn't really matter. It's at the end of the end is how you feel, right? Do you want to kill your brother and sisters and families on the other side of the world? Or do you want to make peace with yourself and enjoy the game that it kills things? I would rather play the game and just enjoy it for what it is.
Right?
But that's just me.
Well, dude,
I don't
right.
live in the same world as a lot of people.
And that's it. But like, that can be a fun discussion, and I guess we kind of just previewed it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get deeper into that.
You gave me a good, what's the point? It helps out.
There's a lot of why I started doing it.
Yeah.
Right? And
So
even like with the
a little more sense
but even the understanding too, right? Like, I'm pretty silly, but everything I do, I try to take pretty seriously. So it's also like, right? There's a lot of things, but it's also like, it's the only game I'm gonna play. And I might as well have it contribute to whatever the fuck we're doing. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
it's like,
it does.
It's like the classic thing, dude, of, right, all the time that I have, it might as well be in some sort of production or producing or going forth and being fruitful and multiply, you know what I mean? But to create, right? And it's that continued opportunity. And so, right, the balance of it, and I'm just trying to find the right balance of, just trying to do all these things in life.
Well,
which we'll probably never perfectly find it, but we'll try and we'll strive, you know?
This is good for what's the point. My next question. You used the analogy of the clock.
The clock.
Right? In the game. Now, why can that clock analogy apply for your life? Just because the clock seems like you're only using that analogy mostly for the game, which is, I don't know, seems like the word.
You want me to just start metaphoring everything? I mean, yes, but I can metaphor the shit out of everything. But I guess how can that be applied to other things in my life, dude? Right? So basically, all I was describing there, right, is just a way I had to sweep or to observe or to look at something or an area or a space and not miss things.
Yes, but
that's it.
You're only doing that for the game.
I mean, I do it in a lot of different things.
Do you do that for your life? Like, I mean,
in general, sort of, yeah.
Like, I'm not I don't think like you. Like, I don't think like militarily, right? So I don't look at my.
I don't even think I think like that. I think like my OCD father with the balance of my graceful mother.
You know? I don't know what the way how I see it. I see it as in you're a general of your own person. And you see yourself as your human self as a soldier, and your internal self as a general, and you're leading Sam to these different areas, right?
Yep.
But you don't apply the clock analogy to Sam. You apply clock analogy to essentially your virtual
Well, it's more
reality,
like
I should say.
moments of things that I'm doing. Okay.
Yeah, but if you apply it to Sam, like I told you, like Sam character, I thought it might work much more for him. For example, you can like, hey, you want to go to the gym, wake up, go to the gym, come back home after you shower, you can sit down with your coffee and play a game, and then you can answer your phone and go about it. Like instead of applying that type of, I'm not saying that specific thing you should do. I'm just saying that type of analogy just seems like it would work for Sam a lot more and help him.
So,
I don't know if
yeah, I think I know what you're saying. All right, so I'm talking
I
about
try to
clock,
do that
right?
for my Yeshuas.
Okay, let me. Although not everyone will be able to see it, right?
Yes.
Okay,
But
so
that's
we
not
got
the point. It's
we
not
got the
for that.
clock here. Okay, right. This is 6, or excuse
Yeah.
me, I should do that backwards for you. And this is 12. Okay. Now, in reference to the game, right? I referenced the clock, right? So in the game, okay, you have the Middle East, all right? We have North Africa, right? And then we have Europe into Russia, okay? So this, imagine that that's the map you're seeing, okay? Now I just put the map as if it was like on a clock. And so basically, right, I'll just say like this, like playing as Portugal, right? So I'm here on the Iberian Peninsula to start, okay?
Yeah.
So like on the map itself, right, I'll just work around this way.
Oh,
Now
you
as I
conquer.
expand,
Yeah.
right, I'm working around the map this way. So I'll just start at this area, do
And
all
come
the
back to your
actions.
house.
I'll do all the actions. I'll just do all the actions around the map that I need to do. Get back to the bottom, and then at the bottom,
Yeah.
okay, the last part of that standard operating procedure,
Mm-hmm.
okay, is to open up the agents or certain list files for like my stuff, make sure I actually moved everyone. But I don't have to do that every time, because what I do beyond that is every command or anything I'm giving multiple turn commands. So the other thing that can happen too is I can go through the whole cycle, all right? Go through the whole cycle, okay? Get to that end turn, all right? Save it, hit end turn, and then when I hit end turn, it'll move that person that maybe I forgot to move or something.
Oh, really?
Right. Okay. Now, in the case of, right, like, and people have all different thoughts processes on how you save, right? Save scumming, not save scumming. But, like, if I'm trying to do certain things in a campaign or certain things, right, that's just like a way to do a check, like, or make sure I didn't miss things, right? So I can just, like, go back. And that's, call it one of the funs or beauties of video games, is that you can just like constantly respawn and retry scenarios. Now
No.
we know
Dying and
there's
getting up is the best part about the
there's-
video game.
exactly right, like the respawn. We know in life there's a level of that we can do,
You can only go so far.
but yeah,
You can only
you know.
jump so high.
So, but that's so like,
just-
do I apply that to other places in my life?
Yeah.
I definitely do. That
I
style. of
apply
thing.
that type of thing to my life.
Right now, what you were saying as far as the character of my schedule, I mean, my schedule does work like that, but it is a standard operating procedure that I do a lot, right? Just in normal, like you can just even talk about my normal routines.
Yes, routines. Yeah.
And like that I've always gotten into in my life. Like there's always a routine that I get into, and it moves like that, and then I can adjust pretty good because my routine is usually always pretty
Efficient.
solid
Yeah.
and efficient. And like I even say this, right, because you were saying this, like, what's the point? You seem like I'm stressing out. I'm not stressing so much about it, right, but the idea of trying to be accountable is the things we're saying or trying to do, and that's all it is, buddy, right? But dude, I'm not stressing out about it so much as it's more like it is the thing that I want to do, and I'm actually just not doing it quite as much as I would like, in a sense, and not as efficiently as I would like. And that goes back to some of the things, right, of the great balance of taking care of yourself and also building relationships and working with other people, right? And maybe in some cases it's actually taking care of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the balance of like doing all the things that I'd selfishly like to do, but also making sure that I am giving time and effort to the people that deserve it, need it,
Yeah.
You know, and even the ones that like, right, I want to give it to, and
Yeah.
so
Not everybody deserves it.
and you know, right, this whole action, right, this after action report, right, and I'm always one. It's like I'm harder on myself than I probably need to be,
Yes.
but also,
Yes.
you know, and that's why it's like, right,
And like I feel like you
it's like I'm
you
stressing.
take the fun out of it.
yeah,
Like playing
just
the
take
game.
the fun out of all of it.
Because like at the end,
My
you
whole
said-
life.
At the end, right here, one of the analogies, you like playing it. Like I like it. That's just I like playing the game.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like it from what I'm hearing. All this backstory going through it. It doesn't. At the end, it's like, did you have fun? Like
Yes. Well, I don't
stressful. Know. Like sometimes jujitsu feels stressful to me because I have to do this to get to class, right? But I'm supposed to love it. If I love it, I shouldn't be stressed to get to it.
But also in the same breath, dude, right? It's like
Or taekwondo for that matter.
Right? Playing
the time
football
is hard. I have to get my baby ready. I have to figure out this just to get to make the time to get to that.
Right.
But I don't have fun anymore because I stress to get to it.
Well, this is part of the reason why we're doing this whole thing, buddy, right? Getting to ourselves to that point again, right? Where it's not like feeling like everything is a fucking
job,
stress, or except that in a weird way we're trying to make our entire lives a job, but just don't feel like it's a job, that we're just operating in, right, the purpose that we feel like we were put here to do or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So part of
have
that
to change the world. Otherwise, we should have been dead long time ago, right?
Yeah.
You for more than one reason, me for more than one reason.
Yeah.
I think we existed, not existed. We were somehow guided to be alive this long, to change or make a change in this orb, in this planet.
Or at least right?
Right?
Can
Like, at
contribute
least
to the cause.
Yes.
Contribute to the cause,
or
man.
contribute to the cause one way or another.
And dude, and like, right? But this
And
is
I feel like we should disturb this mod. And that's why we existed.
yeah. Well, I think that's how we're doing, right? To go back to the point and like the stress, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe there's a point I'm trying to make with this game. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure either. It was just like, cause part of it was too, dude. Like just getting back into being able to play it again more, right? Like I just didn't play a bunch of video games for a long time, and like not really, right? And to be honest though, it's like in my life the only times I really wanted like it was definitely the game that I wanted to play a lot. But there was a time too in my life, dude, where it was just like, oh, people would make me feel super nerdy, although I'm fucking very much a nerd.
You goddamn nerd, buddy.
The jockey nerd or whatever, you know.
Yes.
The most athletic in high school, but you know, he likes to read the books. Gay. Stupid, right? But fucking too funny, but right, so at the end of the day though, right, I do enjoy getting in and playing the game when I can, right? And it's like, and I do enjoy making the videos, you know, like I was saying, the highly edited stuff, right?
Yeah.
I'm finding a harder time really getting into that part of it, and because of the time it takes, right, of me, because there's one thing of doing a quick analysis video, like like a football player, let me rewatch the game, see all the things they're doing, all right, let's take some notes, let's figure it out, all right, let's get into the next match, and now let's go, right? Versus like, okay, now I've got to really try and break this thing down, all the minor details, all the things, right? I do like to do that, right? The right time and space and scheduling for that is the most difficult for me, because even in the sense, right
you need
now,
more time, not just like sit down and just slap on it. You need more time to analyze it.
and even just like, and really
Talk about the strategy.
that, and really right now, I think what would be best for me to do on like for the Epic Battle series, right? It was even me making that first video took way longer than I even wanted, but it was right, because in reality, and it would work best for me, right, for those, and with your skill set, like sit down with you, we storyboard it, right, and but you can just walk through some of that stuff, and to do that process together. First, it will definitely.
I really don't even think you need to be there. Like, if you just send me those videos, or like,
right.
I could do it myself.
But I think,
as long as you record them, like, I storyboard it.
And maybe at some point we just do it in this, right? We make the storyboard. But I do think, though, like, that part of it, for me, will be way more enjoyable because I'll be engaging in it with you. Yeah. And, like, we would enjoy that more. And, again, like I've always... Like, whenever we do jiu-jitsu, right, I'm trying to have you teach me like you are, my teacher, right? Even though you're like, I'm not. It's like, it doesn't matter, buddy. If you're a white belt, you went and you learned something today, right? Or yesterday or this week. All right, take what you learned from your coach today, teach me, coach me now. Why? Because it's going to reinforce the learning that you had. It's going to force you to really think through all the things that you learned. Yeah. Right. It's why there is always a thing of doing the thing, but then also, like, if we can teach it, right? And this is going to be a lot of us just in the whole podcast that we're doing, right? You're giving me a lot of the steering wheel to drive this thing in the sense of its organization and a lot of the series that we're having, right? But you're also going to take the wheel and drive and teach me. And we know this. It doesn't matter. Especially in our lives, there ain't no real teacher-student here. It's two friends that have two different... opinions, modes, just things, but also, like, skills, talents, and things, right? Like... You know what I mean? And it's like all the stuff that you've done with your dad and building and like little things that it's like, and a lot of things that we even know and or understand, but I've had more hands-on on it, or you've had more hands-on on it, and we get together and it's just like so simply like, hey dude, teach me what's going on. All right, cool. Let me teach you this. And because we're like willing to fight each other, we'll also be like, fuck you, buddy. You know? Yes. Appropriately. You know, it's like that classic leadership thing, dude, where the leaders of our world would do so much better to just have an understanding that you should want some rebellion and resistance from your
friends and family.
Well, and even if we want to say subordinates, but if you are, if they are just so like, yes sir, benevolence, you should see that as an issue. Right?
It's not even like a rebellion.
Everyone thinks I'm this smart. No way. You know, right? Like, you should question that. So, right? And that's why we want to do a lot of these things that we're presenting and learning.
I have, like, for example, let's say me and you are going to war. Let's just say that. And you are the leader. Of course, you can be the leader. And...
Let me put it like this. Maybe not. Because maybe you're the point man. And you're at the front. Like,
let's say
So although I might be the platoon commander, you might be in charge of the entire movement of our group.
Maybe,
right? That's just me getting into other things. Sorry.
That's fine. You are leading us, and we see our enemy among, I don't know, the rubble over there, and we like, hey. We're going to go inside, and we're going to take those guys out. And I'm like, well, that's fine, but how are we going to do that? And you're like, we're just going to bomb Russia. And I'm like, dude, can you not see those guys with a gun pointing at us? We are in an open field with a few rocks covering us.
So let me get back to SOPs.
Yeah. Standard
operating procedures.
Yes.
Now, if I was a good leader...
Yeah, you would have thought about the ideas.
Well, we would have already had all of these things put in place.
Yeah.
But okay, what would actually, hopefully, actually happen in that situation? Okay? What you're talking about is a movement to contact.
Well, what I'm talking about is, I understand about, like, saying, like, no, sir, but I also understand, yes, sir, but, like, I'm not going to disagree with you in every single time.
So, alright, so you know this is, so this is...
But I'm not going to bomb rush those guys. But
So,
of course, if you have a strategy,
let me put it
I'd be
like this.
Fuck yeah, nigga, let's
Okay.
kick all those guys.
let's just say I didn't make the mistakes I made, and I got to leave my college and go
Well, let's
be
not go
an
that
officer.
far.
No, but like this is.
I'm using analogy.
I know.
Use analogy.
I am also going to as well. I am a fresh new second lieutenant, and I'm given a platoon.
Yep.
Okay, and we'll go to the MOS that I had. All right, 12 Bravo Combat Engineer. All right. I go and I'm now in charge of this platoon. Okay, I've been given this platoon wherever they might be. Okay, let's call it 10th Mountain up in Fort Drum. All right, I get part of the 10th Mountain. All right, I've got my platoon within the 10th Mountain Division. All right, now I'm going to show up to that platoon. That platoon sergeant's been in the platoon for the last 10 years. Maybe even the privates have been in for 3, 4 specialists. Okay, so that group of people have probably been together in some capacity for a little while. They will have been hopefully already training and doing a lot of things in the standard operating procedures that it means to be a combat engineer, right?
They have to be.
So,
They're gonna be a soldier.
Correct.
Go on.
So, me coming out of, college and, the basic officer leadership course and all the different things that you go through before you get to your unit. Private Johnson probably has more experience handling C4 than I does. Correct.
He does.
Yeah, right. So this is where, right, you start to get smart about listening to your guys and also understanding. And
but you wouldn't
this
come
is,
in there you thinking you the shit either, because
some people do. Who knows?
But the way how you've been trained, when you come to this branch of a station, you wouldn't think, oh, my shit doesn't stink. That soldier, that
I was
leader,
trained that way at understanding, but people aren't always trained that way. It's a very interesting thing how militaries work.
So you don't think that guy might have been trained better than you, just because he's a leader? But then how can he get that level if he didn't go through what you went through? There's always hierarchy. We just talked about that earlier.
So as far as the American military is concerned, right?
Unless his mom and dad
to be an officer, you just need to go through college, ROTC, or the military academies.
But you would have to pass the bomb thing. You would have to pump the wire. You would have to pass the writing.
To be honest, I can't.
Pass the eye. You have to pass the ear. Test.
You still have to pass like a lot of those basic types of tests.
But
to go so like C4 and explosives, right? Because you also have to remember too that like the jobs are very specific in our Army, right?
Yes.
So what it is that you do, okay? So, right, me going through, let's just say I went through EBULIC, which Engineer Basic Officer Leadership course, okay? Yeah. Like, that's kind of all-encompassing for all the engineers, but, so I would have had a very small amount of time working with C4. I don't know how much that time would have been. Very, very small. And then, when I get to my unit, I'm pretty much not fucking handling it again. Because it's their job. It is the Joes. And
so the leader might not know anymore how
and then
to
you're
do that
and then your senior and then your enlisted leadership. Okay.
Your duty is like something else.
Correct.
Right, and really, like every tiny task.
And really how our military is set it up is my job is just to plan and facilitate plans, make sure I'm talking to all the people to get everything in place. All right, like if I'm the platoon commander and you're the platoon sergeant, dude. Okay, if we're doing it, I think
by the book, by the rule, by the
not even just to the best effect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Best effect.
To the best effect is
you do yours, I do mine.
Correct.
You do your job, I do my job.
Of course, right? Quite simply, and really how that breaks down in our military, I think, to put it simply, okay, is you're training the guys. I'm gonna make sure you have everything you need to train the guys. guys.
But that doesn't make sense. Let's
Why?
say because like let's say those platoon you took your armies like those 5 man die, or one of them who's supposed to handle the explosion, his arm blow off or his leg blow off, he can't go there. You is still your job to go defuse that bomb. That your knowledge would be called upon.
Not to defuse. Luckily, we got EODs, but then yes, combat engineers, and we wouldn't try to defuse it. We would just blow the fuck out of it until
Or-
I would get away.
Your sniper guy couldn't snipe anymore.
But
You would
that's
have
why.
you would
This is why.
it would call up upon your knowledge
This is
to
why.
pick up that sniper
This
and
is why
then
we
use it.
cross train.
Yes,
Cross train.
but that's why that guy, that leader who has that ranking, who has that badge of honor, is supposed to
Yes.
represent.
So
So you coming off of
Now-
college,
now-
you wouldn't think your shit doesn't stink, because
correct.
when your arm blow
Now-
off, you can't handle that. That soldier, that
Right.
leader, will take your job.
Right.
That's the point. Otherwise, it
So-
doesn't matter the ranking.
Correct. Now,
So he does have those credibility. He does have those knowledge. He does have those learning ability.
let me put it like this:
Even though he doesn't do it all the time anymore.
Lieutenant John might not. Let's just talk about how both those lieutenants got to their position.
Okay, well, how can
Lieutenant John,
yeah,
all right,
he knows how to
He
do those
went-
tiny jobs.
he went to West Point, graduated West Point, went to his bullocks and all the stuff that he had to do. He gets to his unit. He's 23 years old.
Okay,
24 years old, maybe.
great.
Okay.
Sounds amazing family.
Lieutenant Joe.
Great job.
Lieutenant Joe enlisted in the Army when he was 18 as a private. He served 4 years.
Okay.
He went on 2 deployments. Okay. Got time down range. Was doing what all the privates were doing. Alright. All the Joes. Right. Then he used his GI Bill while staying in the Army to go to school. So now he's doing Army and school. Okay. Continuing to keep up his skills
Okay.
as an enlisted soldier while he's in school, setting up himself to become an officer.
Sounds a lot, but okay.
Now he graduates, right? Call it West Point. Say he went to West Point too.
It's
He
great.
graduates.
Yeah.
All
Should
right.
have the same
He gets-
knowledge is coming out. Because
Hold
they're the
on,
same
hold
school.
on. Wait, stop.
Maybe
Do you
more.
actually think? Yeah. You
Maybe
just said
more.
it. He will definitely have more knowledge than
That other guy, yeah. That 25-year-old boy. Or 25.
because well, actually, it'll be the difference of like, Sorry, I don't remember who's who now, but Lieutenant John,
Yeah.
23,
Yep.
went to college, never been deployed.
Yeah.
Okay. Versus Lieutenant John, now he's 28.
Who've been deployed, who has gone through
He
things.
did the
who
enlisted
still goes
side,
through.
and then he went to school, and then he became an officer. So now he's seeing both sides of the equation, of the coin.
Okay,
of
what's
both
your
sides.
point?
My point
Yeah.
is he is going to probably, and odds are, and functionally be a better leader.
Yes, he should.
Probably. But
All those information,
again-
all those accolades.
But then
all
we
those...
just get down to individuals and skills and talents, and people have certain energies and abilities and things. So
Well, let me ask you a question. Is this 28 guy, Joe, can he run as fast as that 23-year-old guy? Even though they have the same, this guy's knowledgeable in a lot of things. Let's say those 5 things, and this guy only knowledgeable in those 3 things.
Okay.
Maybe might be familiar with the other 2. The guy's really good at. Okay, can this guy run as fast as that guy? When it comes to it, at the end of the end, when a bullet flies through your head, can this guy run as fast as that guy?
well, if a bullet flies through your head, you're probably not running anymore.
I'm
But-
just say yes or no. Okay, you want to know
Well-
this guy should be effective, right? I agree with you. This guy
I feel like
should-
Pete Hegseth not answering yes or no.
No, because
No,
I'm
no.
trying to get you to. I'm trying to also understand it and get you
Right.
through a roadmap, okay? Because he's telling me you're right. This guy accolation sounds amazing. He should be a great leader.
You would think he's better prepared.
You're better prepared.
Yep. That's
now
it.
there's a
You just
few
think he's
things
better
now we're gonna use to differentiate. You asking, would he be a better leader? Essentially, if you give me all those things on a paper and I'm looking at them, god damn, that guy's resume is great. Now, let's check off a few lists. Let's put him in the field. Okay? Let's put him in the field. We have sport to check off. This boy who has this less knowledge, can he outperform a few things from this guy? Essentially,
Probably.
shouldn't, because his knowledge should outperform him.
Yeah.
But at the end, if this guy can outrun and help his man safety, get the job done, eventually he will get those acclamation by experience.
Correct.
So he'll come back
Yeah.
to be a good leader.
Again, buddy,
Right?
John, we're gonna say John and
It's
Joe.
not like we say
John,
he's a bad leader. I
correct.
get that. You're not
John and
saying
Joe,
that. You're just taking different path.
they both won the Medal of Honor. Let's just
Yeah.
say that, okay? But like, no, the point is though, right? Is there's multiple different paths, but the knowledge, skill, but at the end of the day, dude, what we're really honing in on from a leadership perspective, right, is on a team, whatever it is, right? People have their role, and people need to know each other's roles, right? We need to be able to cover and move for each other.
Exactly.
Those types of things.
And that's what
right?
leaders are born.
Correct.
The ability to come out
But
the shift.
do you think usually the best leaders are the best at something, or they're pretty good at everything?
No, they're good at some things, and sometimes they
No, and they actually, the best leaders learn to let all their fucking guys lead for them. It's this weird thing of like,
who is that?
huh?
Who's that? Who's one leader who let the other people do who's not
I
good at?
will reference Andrew Carnegie.
Andrew Carnegie is not good at anything, but he's good at letting people do their own thing. And who's been successful? What is he successful
Andrew
in
Carnegie,
doing that?
okay, right. Andrew Carnegie's is the one that essentially built the industry of steel. Okay?
Okay. So, how...
One of the richest families that
I
exists
don't
on
even know
this
the
earth.
Rockefellers, but go ahead.
Right. Same time frame, all that stuff, okay?
Is that the
Andrew
one who-
Carnegie, although I'm
Oh,
not...
is that the railroad guy? That
Well-
invented the railroad steel?
It's steel, yeah, and definitely heavily involved with the railroads. He wasn't the inventor of the railroads.
No, it's just
I'm
more
not
the
mistaken.
steel.
But actually,
for the steel to
correct.
use that
So
steel.
this is
Anyway,
the
go
point.
ahead.
You're actually getting to my point.
Okay.
Hey, I just have the ability to create and make this steel. All right.
Yeah.
But I don't remember the exact quote he said. It actually came from Napoleon Hill. Okay. Grow and Think Rich, the book, right? But he was close with Andrew Carnegie, okay? And essentially, right, one of the tricks to Andrew Carnegie's success was just like, I don't need to know really what it is or how to do anything. I just need to know the people and have a good relationship with the people that do. And then conduct good business.
Interesting.
Right?
Okay.
So, I'm okay at editing videos. But seriously,
Okay.
I'm okay at editing videos. I'm okay. But
Interesting.
man, I met this person, or I remember, back in the day, I had a good friend, Yeshua, who went to school, and let me give him a call.
Yeah, that's the way it works.
Hey, I give you this, all right? This project, I'll pay you this amount of money to do it, and you do it. And this thing's gonna make us a fuck ton of money, though. You know what I mean? Or whatever it is, right? Boom. All right, cool. You're doing this thing for me that I'm in charge of, but I don't have to do any of it. I give it to you. Now I can go to the next thing. Oh, I need better security in this place. Well, I know this old tier 1 operator who's a defense contractor now, and he does a lot of security work. Actually, shit, he even opened up a security company. give him a shout, see what's up. Okay, he would talk about having a phone number for anyone or anything that he needed for the expertise or the actual skill and the talent and the ability to do it. And it wasn't like I'm using you. It is we are working together and providing each other advantage and benefit. Right? That's kind of the idea of it, okay? Of look, you can and are able to do this, and I am going to trust you to do it, okay? I'm giving you the leadership, I'm giving you the ownership of it.
So why did he get credit from them?
What did he get credit from?
Yeah. How was he
Building
any
the steel
good at
engine.
anything?
Well, he's very good at building relationships with people.
But that doesn't give him the credibility of the steel inventor or creator.
To be honest, to be honest, let me just...
It gives him maybe
Because
entrepreneur.
I'm just trying to actually remember when steel was invented.
But Sam,
When you put the metals.
now that guy who created that thing, relationship, and made money,
Yeah.
would you consider him to give you a good opinion? Not his opinion, to give you a good idea on other things other than maybe the business he created?
Carnegie?
Yeah. Like, so for example,
Yeah.
so he did this good thing and good idea and business.
I mean, I think
steel.
people might argue it's bad, but we're not here to talk about
We're
that.
not
Just
ta-
the function of.
But would you have him give you advice for your other company? Like, for example,
Yeah. I mean, yes, but you know this about me, and even part of like what we're doing here. Yeah.
because his credibility is proof enough, right?
Right, and I've even tried to take the approach in my life too, right? Like, even if there's always learning to be had and value to be gained, even if it's bad information or whatever, right? We can always learn and gain. So, like, yeah, would I absolutely listen to Andrew Carnegie when he was talking about business model, like, or how to run a bit? Of course. He's
What about
literally ran one
what
of the
about a
richest-
strategy on a war?
Well, to be honest, I would be curious to hear what he would have to say about it because he works on the military-industrial complex side of it. Because one thing that people forget about war is that really logistics is the thing and it's supply. It's like I can, in weird ways, right, you can predict a lot of what's going to happen geopolitically just if you know how people are functioning economically or what they're trying to make, or, right, you can start to foresee what is probably going down because, you got to build things in preparation to do something. So, yeah, and it wouldn't be Andrew Carnegie, but like,
No, I'm
you're
using
talking
him
to
because he's the
anyone,
only
but
one
right.
we have.
But yeah, it's
use
just
him.
like there's a lot of different things that we can talk and discuss in
Like,
that
okay,
regard.
I know this is not a new idea, but like scientists who knows about planets and space, would you have him give you advice about war or military strategy?
It depends
because
on who. It depends on who we're talking to. There's a lot of astronauts that are veterans.
Interesting. Really?
Yes.
Why?
Because
Is the military teaches astronaut in space?
no, but there's just the thing of like.
Like you can't be scientist and become an astronaut just like after you retire. Oh,
No,
my
there's-
military days over. I'm
No,
gonna
but
just
there's
become
a
scientist.
whole process, but also the physical acumen it takes
It's
to
like you
become an
can't become a
astronaut.
doctor.
It's. I
It
mean,
takes
you could.
8 years.
Yeah, you just gotta go do the thing, dude. So the point is, right? Like for an example, all right, dude. Yeah, you can get out of the military and go be an astronaut because you just go, you apply to NASA, you fill out the application, you go through any sort of vetting process like anyone else does. There's physical tests, and if you pass it, you can be one. It is not
Damn.
that crazy.
It's
I mean, yeah, sure. To be honest, like, I mean, I'd have to look a little bit into it, but I think in all technicality, the thing that might maybe hurt me right now is my age, but I don't even think it would, is I could technically just fill in an application to NASA and try to become an astronaut.
Really? Is that easy?
Well, it's not that easy. There is a process. I did look into it once, but yeah, buddy, it's just a matter of doing the things. It's like anything.
What about, okay, would you take an athlete, like basketball player or soccer player or a football player, and give you advice about war strategy or military strategy or even astronaut space flight?
So I guess what you're saying,
You understand my point?
What you're saying is, how can these people, all right,
Michael Jordan, as good as he is.
Well, dude, and I know we're making this a focus to war, right? But it's like, how do you take someone who seemingly has nothing to do with the subject for information that you're trying to find about?
Mm-hmm.
How do you get information? So how do I get information about this from this person that is telling me about something that has nothing to do with this?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more like as a valid. That's the point. Like,
this is where you have to start to critically think.
That's my question. That's
your critical
this is
application.
my point.
So
he's good at business and making friends with these people. It doesn't make him a great idea for a war or other strategy or even life strategy. He might not even be good in relationships.
Let me get you. So, all right, you telling me building relationships is good for business and then working with people and you can start to take advantage. Now, you're out there on the ground in a war.
Yeah.
All right, and specifically for us as Americans right now as we conduct it.
Yeah.
All right, we go over there. They're not here. We're over there in their space.
Yeah.
Amongst their people.
Yeah.
Amongst the civilians as well as all of their fighters. So your ability to build relationships and talk to people. You're in a space and in a land where, for all intents and purposes, the only friends are you and your guys that you came in and invaded or are on other people's land conducting operations, all these things. So, now for us, the hearts and minds was kind of the mission for a long time. So interacting and working with local populations. So your ability to build relationships and good relationships, right, with the people that you're in, both protecting and fighting, right, with reference Afghanistan, okay, your ability to have and build good relationships, immensely huge. And I can take you through so many guys, right, their ability to build relationships, business, like save their lives, saved other people's lives, like, right, people. And so, right, to the point of like, hey, I'm talking to you, right, let's just put it like America went to Ethiopia and you're in Ethiopia, okay, and you were there, but I show up, right, and you're like, fuck this motherfucker, this American guy that just showed up.
I would.
But then
my whole ancestor.
But I just somehow, but I can already see how this would go down, dude. I'd walk in, see you, I'd be like, damn, look at this guy. And you'd probably be like,
Fuck this guy.
But then we would start talking, and next thing you know, we would just be like,
yeah, after
we
seen a pair of titties.
High five!
Did you see that? Yes.
So, right, and that's just sort of, man, aren't we all just so similar? But, right, your ability, that's like, right, how to apply, like, how could I talk to Tom Brady and take Tom Brady and apply his lessons of football to war?
Yeah.
There's many ways to do that.
It's not possible.
Sure. Yes, it is.
No, it's not possible. He knows strategy of football. Fair enough. But that's nothing to do when something goes chaos.
I played football all the way through college, right?
Yes.
Football is a super militaristic game. It is very easy to parallel to the military, I'll put it like that. But, dude, it is, right, our story, right, the after actions reports, right, how you've said that this can apply to everything. You can take application from anything and apply it to something That is even
I
part
don't
of
think
the
football and soccer and these things can apply. These
to war.
Yeah, or to a strategy for like going to other things, like to space or to traveling or like it doesn't. A lot of things don't apply. Everybody's
Here we go. You ready?
don't work.
I got one simple one for you. Tom Brady's a quarterback.
Great, he's great at it too. I think.
For him to hit his target.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
As a human quarterback.
I bet he can't keep a wife though.
That has nothing to do with war. No,
yes, it does.
We're not going into that discussion right now.
The point is, one thing doesn't translate to another.
Yes, it does. I'm glad to give you one if you just let me talk.
Go ahead.
Tom Brady is a quarterback. His job, all right, although there's multiple parts of it. But yes, throw a football to a receiver. We'll go to that simple, basic one.
Yes.
All right. Here's what.
I probably could do it.
There's having a direct line of sight to your receiver. So I'm about to throw you this ball.
Okay.
I can see you. You can see me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then there's indirect line of sight, all right, to a receiver, right? Call it on a fade ball, okay? But maybe I can't necessarily see you, but I know that you're going to be there or in that area. So I'm going to throw it to that area. And I'm trusting on you to fucking go get it.
Yes.
All right, now, we're just talking about eyesight and then trust of positioning and working together to know who your teammates are and where they're going to be.
Okay.
Now, in the military, all right, first, with weapons, you need line of sight in order to hit your target. Bullets, although they don't actually shoot in a straight line.
No, they don't.
They shoot, all right?
Fast.
No, I mean, there's a little... But in general, right, it's not like a lob, okay? It's like, if I were to shoot at you in a straight line and there's a big rock right here, the rock's going to stop it.
Most likely.
It's not going to go through. There's some... But in general, right,
yeah.
There's something in between me and you. I can't see you. I can't shoot you.
Got it.
Okay? But if I do have something with the ability for indirect fire, and I know that you're behind there, then I might be able to hit you right, throw a grenade over it.
Yeah.
Okay? But now there's this to the next part. The trusting of knowing where your teammates are going to be, all right? Mm-hmm. Or based off of different schemes and things that are you're doing, all right? The application in battle, all right? About knowing where your teammates are in position to yourself. So either, right, in that situation, I'm talking about Tom Brady having the knowledge, all right, that Randy Moss is running a fade on the outside, okay, and even though he probably could see Randy, he's tall as hell, but, like, actually, Brandon Cooks would be the better one. He had Brandon Cooks for a time.
I don't know.
Shorter receiver. I know.
No,
so, right, but it's like he's running a fade.
I assume they're black people. I'm sorry.
You know, I'm sure there's times where Tom's back there, and he's not physically seeing Brandon Cooks.
But he's just
But he knows that he's going to be there. And it also
just
gives
the play.
him...
That's just the play.
Right? It gives
That's just
Tom
the
the
play.
chance to, like, look off and then come back and throw it. Do just, like, simple things like that. So the trust, right, of knowing where your guys are and that they'll get to where they're supposed to be. Okay? Now, from a military perspective, right, God forbid we accidentally shoot each other because we don't know where people are. Or make inappropriate moves. Or we can do something because we know where they are. Or we know that we can move now at this time because we have full trust in this unit over here that they completed their spot and mission so that we can go, right? So just simple things like that. We can always apply.
You can apply it. I'm having a hard time seeing it.
Oh, well, yeah.
I guess in a way maybe certain things can, but no matter how much you wanna justify it and then rationalize it, but the reality is like
Rationalize it.
Yeah, rationalize it. The reality is as soon as when the other guys start firing and you can hear noise and people panicking, your heart is racing. You're not gonna be able to like, oh, let me see where the other guy, his quarterback guy, where he is and stuff. Because I understand on the football, because there's like 11 people in there, you think that chaos is enough for you to create that type of emotion, but it won't. No matter how hard I try training in class, when I go on that mat, my heart races so fast and so, I can't even, my grip feels weak. My leg feel weak, like I've been
right.
for a while, you know what I mean? So I'm like, why? So like no matter how good he is throwing and he won 7 balls or 7 rings or whatever, I don't think you can put that guy with his plan could work in any way in there. Or his idea. So when he says something about like, oh, these guys shouldn't be on war, these guys shouldn't do this, like, dude, stay in your lane, kinda.
Well, there's the staying in your lane thing, right? And those aren't the things that I would be asking to take over and transition into war, anyways.
Yeah.
But, right?
I guess the middle guys.
No, but what you're talking about, though, okay? No, just when the shit actually gets stressful.
Yes.
How are people going to react?
Exactly.
It's why you train. And I know you were just saying how I train and then I go to the mat. Yeah, that's classic nerves. Let's talk about the man in the arena. Okay, to go back even to the points of
Isn't that his movie?
I'm playing the game. Yeah. The man in the arena, he made a thing, but the man in the arena is a speech that was given by
Tom Brady, right?
No.
Is that the man in the arena?
Theodore Roosevelt. Teddy Roosevelt, the Rough Rider.
Oh, yes, in the top of the hill.
So.
The Rough Rider, yes.
Yeshuas, this is why, right, at the end of the day, I was talking about, like, actually playing games, right? Getting in the arena and playing the matches. Getting in. For you to continue to get comfortable in competing in jiu-jitsu, you gotta keep competing.
I just keep losing. What if I keep losing every
It's in the same breath.
Well,
but also
like
when you care about something or you want to do well at something, that's going to be a natural thing. Like, right, I still play flag football here and there, okay?
Yeah.
Now, in general, anytime I'm going to play football or anything, at this point in my life, dude, right, it's so second nature to me. You know, it's like, I just go and have a good time. And people even know that play with me. I've always played, like, yeah, I'm trying to win, but it's not even my biggest concern there. I'm going to have a good time and to help people get better at the game if I can. Not that we aren't trying to win.
How do you get that nervous?
I don't get that nervous anymore, right? And part of it is too is confidence, and not that I'm ever the best player out there, but I'm usually like one of the better guys out there. So it's just like
you feel comfortable feeling like that, just
knowing and I also plan on some good teams, always being competitive, like as far as flag goes in the last few years, right? But I even knew when I came out of college, right? You know, we had just won a championship and did all that stuff, right? Pretty cool. It was like I knew going in that I know a lot of guys are going to take this real seriously. I am going to make sure I am here as someone that comes here, competes hard, and takes it serious, but this is all fun. We are a bunch of men paying to play something, and this is about us just hopefully getting some good energy out, having a good outlet for physical activity. That's all it is, right? So I'm going to have fun. I'm going to encourage even the opposing team, like younger guys that come in. I'm going to, if I can, take a moment, teach them something, show them something, talk about something. Say, hey, it's all right, you know, because in one league I play in, right, there's kids when they turn 18, because they have to be an adult, they'll come and join, right?
Yep.
To play and get tied up, and even some of these young 18-year-olds, they're big kids, but they get tied up, but they'll tie up with me, and I'm not a huge dude, but I've been through a gauntlet, and I have, and I'm in pretty decent shape, so sometimes I get a good manhandle on them, so to speak. Well, and it's the thing though of hey, don't be discouraged. You'll kick my ass someday, all right? Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Just keep trying and keep working. Think about this, right? I have so much leverage on you being so low to the ground or whatever. Think about maybe trying to do this, because at the end of the day, I'd rather
tips a little bit and ideas.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's at the end of the day, dude, I've always believed this in my life. If I'm the worst player on my team, that's a good situation to be in. And at the end of the day, I don't want to compete against people that aren't competitive. You don't get better unless the people that you're playing against, right?
Yeah,
Are
no,
of
I
similar,
totally
equal.
understand. I
Not that like, right? Because part of competing is, right, you're gonna play people that technically you can beat or not beat, right? It's part of the whole game of it, right? But yeah, I'd rather just help people get better. Now, I have played in almost every flag football championship, I think, in the last 4 years that I've, like, in any of the leagues that I've been in, right? Like,
No,
just
you
because we're
always
on
have
good
that.
teams, but, like, that's the thing, though. It's one of those things of, right? And sometimes I should, like, the priority for me, although we're going out and I'm trying to help my team win every single game, and we're talking all the strategy and all the things that we need to be trying to do.
You're probably a good teammate.
But at the end of the day, right, and everyone knows this from me because I say it to people, my priority is to come and have a good time, right? And like I used to say the thing, like, right, a lot of times it's on Sunday mornings, so to a lot of people I would just describe to them how this is my church, right, to a degree, right? It's for me to come and hang out with a bunch of friends that like football, and really we're tossing the rock around and we're having a good time.
Yeah.
Like having a good time. Not, yes, trying to compete hard, get after each other a little bit, play hard, but
That's why we box when we will box, We
just beat the shit out of each other for no reason.
Yeah.
Except that
Yeah.
we thought it was fun.
It was fun. We had a good time.
It is, I know. We probably need
Loved
a good
it.
fucking spar here soon.
Yes, we haven't sparred in a while. I mean, when you're talking about like
So.
18 those boys, I meet that every day in fucking taekwondo and jiu-jitsu, and I kid you not, I hate these guys. Like, every day I can feel how old I'm getting.
Yeah.
Because like every time I hold these 16-year-old, he just like, he does things like I used to do when I was this age. I get like, oh, you're gonna catch one day. I used to do that. I swear to you, sometimes like even some of these kids, they
feeling your age is getting you.
Dude, that's the worst thing being older. Like hanging at. That's the worst thing being in taekwondo class. Most of those kids are 16, 17.
I'm not going to actually say this because this is going to be the beginning of our rejection of this statement, but I think that actually happens when you have kids.
Is that what it is?
Because I feel like I'm 12 still.
Oh yeah.
I don't, but you know what I mean.
Fuck yeah,
But actually, dude, no, I say that as a joke, but there is something, I will say this just in my life observation, right? The strain and the stress is actually just something to continue to be aware of with yourself, right? Now, some of that, right, is just kids are super talented now. A lot of them are just coming in with more knowledge, and they've been able to do, right? So some of that, right, you always just got to keep yourself in perspective on those things, right? And, right, and also, like, dude, I'll even talk about the great encouragement that we have, not to be so pessimistic about our world, but, like, if we don't fuck this thing up, the potential for these kids and our kids and, you're, like, all of it to fucking just literally exponentially grow.
Do you remember the times
unlike we ever have before?
When we were working out, went to the gym, you just start pumping your iron without stretching?
Yeah.
Right?
I can still do that. However, it's better to warm up.
No, I can't do anything without warming up, with all due respect.
Well, and there's the thing. We know it's better to warm up. It's better to warm up just in the practicality of preventing injury. Yeah, when you're young like that, and for me too, like you would see me go into the gym, but like there's also this description of like at times, but also like what was I doing all day? In that instance, right, I probably just gone out of work with kids, right?
Yeah.
Maybe went out and did some stuff. I had been moving, doing a bunch of physical activity, so sometimes it's like I've actually been warming up for 2 hours. Just been moving around doing a bunch of stuff. So I'm ready to come into the gym here and we can get into, not that there isn't still like some warm-ups, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like the thing of like I'm not just gonna, and that a lot of bigger men can do this, and I can throw 225 on the bar for a bench press and start hitting it, but am I ever gonna normally do that? No, because
well, not every day at least.
Definitely. Well, just in general, like that's not like even. Let's just go to Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay, I did a 5x3 at 245. Okay, for my bench, right? I mean, realistically, if I
Without
wanted to,
stretching and everything.
no.
Yeah.
At this point, this was in the middle of my workout, and so I'm doing specifically program trained for power, like cleans. Okay, the movement of cleans, power cleans, hand cleans, all that. So I do have all this, but at this point, right, and especially for my bench, because of the shoulder mobility stuff, right? It's like with a bench, if I'm gonna go over 225, especially, I'm doing warm up. But even then, bench is one that like I will always warm up for now, and that's actually more just about my shoulders and the bench press. Okay. Yeah, it's like, and especially for me, like when I've had, call it weightlifting injuries, it's always been around the bench press. But that has to do with other things. But yeah, dude. But the point is, like, right, I had a strength and conditioning coach, right, and he would just talk about that, especially when you're younger. Like, as you get older, you do need it a little bit more.
Stretching.
But when you're younger,
Yeah.
there's actually just being cognizant. And for him, right, from a strength and conditioning standpoint, okay, if you are a head strength conditioning coach at a college, all right, and depending on the size of the college, the funding of the school, whatever, okay, it might be you and one other guy who's in charge of 28 teams and getting them all into the weight room every week, doing certain workouts, programming these workouts, putting it all together. Now, part of what you do as a strength and conditioning coach is it's like part of the standard of the industry and the practice is you're going to have a warm-up.
Yep.
Right? And actually, and not even to get away, if we want to get to technicality of terms, it's not stretching, it's a dynamic warm-up. Okay? And then stretching happens after, call it static, but even then, you shouldn't really ever static stretch. It should still be a dynamic stretch in the sense of like you are eventually over time trying to stretch farther. There should be some slight push into it, I think. But anyways, I won't speak too much further than that. But he would talk about, like, specifically at my school, right, at a military college, right? He's like, by the time, like, for the football players, okay, by the time you guys show up at 4:30 p.m., a lot of you have already got a workout in the morning with the Army. You've been climbing and walking around this campus all day that has stairs and hills all over it. You gotta walk to this gym through all of those things. And most of you are 19 and 20, 21 years old. You used to be like, dare I say they're already warmed up. You know what I mean? Now,
yeah, it's ridiculous.
In some cases, yeah. But then there's the warming up to do certain movements, right?
Yeah.
And then there's just some people who are very, right, like Marab Devshali, right? If I said his last name right, I feel like I just butchered it. But Marab, right? He's one that is...
If that
is well known.
He can come find me.
he is one though that's very well known, right, for being a guy that can just walk into a training session like nothing warm up, and he'll just hop in and start doing hard rounds right from the rip. You know what I mean?
That's what they say, but I don't believe until I see it.
Yeah, have a little faith.
It's not that I don't have faith. I'm sick of everybody just pretending.
I know.
That nigga keep breaking his nose every other week, and it's like, how can you break the same nose? If you broke it the first time, you'd be more,
Oh, yeah. I was like, that stuff I don't know anything about.
Exactly. That's why you know about his jump right into the gym without any stretches, and I know about his nose being busted every other week. So we have two different information coming off of the same guy.
Well, I wouldn't say it's not two different information, right? It is just And first of all, this could also be like this
They
was
both
from.
could be right. They both could be wrong.
Well, yeah, and this
But
was
I
from,
think
and
yours
I don't
is
remember
wrong
the
and mine's
exact
wrong.
clip, right? It might have been like Brendan Schaub or whoever.
No, it
right?
was the Mighty Mouse. I remember.
Oh, it was Mighty
makes-
Mouse was
yes.
the one that was saying it?
Yes.
I was
Mighty
like, so
Mouse
maybe
when he
we
trained with
watched
him.
that video. Yeah, and he said he
No,
just
you
walked
saw
in.
the same clips of me. I have a glimpse of memory what you're talking about. I don't think we saw it together. But
Right.
yes, Mighty Mouse had a little bit of a traveling around different gyms, and he was recording.
Right.
And one of them was Marab, and he's like, Marab is crazy. You just jump into the gym without stretching, you start rolling without hard rolling. I was like,
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and that was definitely it. It was Mighty Mouse. Yeah. Now that you're saying
I was
that.
like, I don't believe it. Right when I watched it.
But you kind of touched on something else there with the sense of, right, like I presented an example that, although I wasn't trying to get into Marab so much, just in the sense of like, dude, some people just not like need less to like warm up or gather themselves to get into something than other people. Like, and dude, that's more than just like fighting or physical activity, dude. Some people have to do like preparations just to get like into doing a podcast, right? Have to do like warm-ups for that. Some people have to do warm-ups just to like go enter a conversation with people. Like literally, like I've been having that with #callsign DJ, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of like, you know, you need to take a minute to like gather to just go do something and it's like,
You know what time is it? Let's see if we
it's
can have
I was gonna say we are way over time here,
that.
but
No. Okay, wait, let's just do. This is, I know it's recording, just for, but for us, 5 minutes. Let's just kill this for a second. Why can he not help you with the audio?
because he has to worry about his own life and I don't want him to right now. Because he needs to figure out his own shit. And I've already vetted it enough. He's not providing anything specific right now to the value of the clarity of our audio outside of things that we've done.
Or even for your game?
For the game,
Yep. As far as that issue?
it's just the headset. That's pretty much it.
Okay. Now, as far as the video editing goes,
He does try to help. Don't like
'cause
twist that either.
No,
it's just
no,
right
that's
now
not
though
twisted.
we have
I'm
other
just trying to
things.
understand it because, like you said, he needs to worry about his own, which we're not touching that at all. I'm just trying to understand because if you live right next to me or we're sharing, I don't know, a house, and you are recording or editing video, you're like, Jesse, this fucking thing makes no sense to me. I can't get this thing. I'll be like right there for hours just trying
Right.
to figure it out with you because we're brothers and I'll help you. And I'm not saying he is doing it or not doing it,
Right.
but that's the way how.
I have not specifically asked him while I'm there doing it, but there isn't, because we've already talked enough about audio stuff, bud.
Yeah.
And buddy, other than like bring in DJ here again, and this is where I've been like call signing him because we're talking way too much about DJ in this for me to feel comfortable posting it because I don't have his consent for this one. Actually, no, I'll get his consent because he doesn't actually care. But Yeshua's, the point is, no, I'm gonna just get more explicit just right now. DJ is going through a fucking lot. And I'm not trying to make a goddamn excuse for him because I'm trying to fucking pull him out of it, dude. But I'm in a goddamn therapy session every fucking night, bro. Every fucking night. And it's fine. But yes, it is frustrating at times. And me and him work through it. Every day. As two brothers will, right? But that's more of the reason than anything. Okay? And he is just really going through it right now. And he is super encouraging to this. And he actually wants to be really involved. But actually, there's a thing of like, I've told him that he needs to get himself on purpose and on task to him doing his music and the other things that he needs to do just to get himself organized so that then I can bring him here and we can bring in the fucking great and beautiful energy that is my man DJ. Right?
Yeah,
and he can tell his story, but he's got to get himself organized, right? And so that's the thing of like, with that stuff. So, right, and kind of what I was referencing earlier in the after action report with the scheduling and stuff, right? Like a lot of it is too right now. Like I started this, okay, And the stress, if you want to call it that, the stress came when he decided to come back from Hawaii. And like I said, they're all allowed to come back. They're all allowed to come back because I've talked to them about it, and we are there, and this has been the place, this is the gap in between whatever is next for our lives. Right? So I don't mind having the stuff, and them coming in and out, because at the end of the day, them coming in and providing money only helps. It does, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Right? It's not about the money, but fuck, we need it to function in this goddamn system. So, may the Lord have mercy upon our souls. But, in that regard, right, the stress has just come because when I come home, and it is my priority, is to make sure fucking DJ is, chilling, that he had a good day, or if he didn't, how are we gonna pull ourselves in or out of it, okay? And this going on while I'm going through my own shit, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Who's worrying about you?
Me-ish.
Who's helping you get through it?
You.
I'm not helping you at all.
Yes, you are. This is it, buddy.
Really?
We've talked about that for a long time.
This is...
So...
Believe me, I would rather be there for you in a better way than this.
Yeah, but dude, it's just doing this stuff, right? And when we get started next week on that first episode, okay?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I was trying to help you out 3-4 years ago.
I know.
This is what we're doing now. This is all you.
I know.
You gotta give yourself a million credit. I'm just literally a physical thing, but
He's a physical spirit.
No. Literally, I wanted to help you out a couple years ago because I wanted to play game. We had a game. I was single. We had a time. We had a place we can go. I had money, and you were in the dump because you're my brother, and I want to help. But those things didn't happen, and now we moved on. I'm on a different stage. You on a different stage. Now, you helping out a brother. You are the one there for somebody.
Right.
So this is actually from you helping me.
I know.
Because I'm editing videos.
It's the same thing that I've said to DJ, right? Because he's always like, "How can I help you, bro? How can I help you?"
Really? Well, then DJ you can just clean yourself. Tell him that.
Every day.
Yeah. You want to help me? Help yourself. Leave me alone.
You don't have to. No, it's not a leave me alone. No, this is, listen to what I'm going to say. I tell him to figure out what he needs to do and to have purpose in his life, and so that he is actually engaging things and not living in his head, because then I can engage. So a lot of it, what's going on right in that regard, okay, the conversations of, call it existentialism or whatever it is, right? Things that don't have much to do with the actual steps we have to take in front of us on a daily basis. Me and you, I'm going to get that here, all right? A lot of what's going on with just me and DJ and discussing those things, right, is just DJ worrying about things that maybe aren't, dude, you don't need to worry about that. Not that it should be a concern, right? There's things that are concerning about it, but dude, it's it's so far away from us right now. Yeah. For us to even actually start to properly worry about that problem, it's we have 487 steps before we start to even sniff that problem. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I remember saying that when I want to talk about current event. You're like, we haven't even started our first podcast. Why do you want to talk about all these new things? Let's do the first episode. So I totally understand.
Well, right, we also have an ability to take on and embrace everything, right? But, dude, it is that thing, though. Yeah, right. As far as helping me, though, really at the end of the day, right, it's this classic thing of the best thing that can help me is when the people around me are also executing at tasks and not always looking to me, I guess, to perform the executions of tasks or not waiting for me to say it, right? Having a little disciplined initiative, right? Like little things like that, One thing I would say to my roommates, actually, Yeshua, I have never had to say this to you. It's why like this always works so well for us, right? It's the classic thing, dude, of like, hey, the dishes are in the sink, okay? The dishes are in the sink, and the dishes have been there for 2 days. No, I didn't make any of those dishes.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
But who said it, or maybe this, or maybe they've just been sitting for 3 days, all right?
Oh, God.
And then it's like I come home and I just start doing the dishes. Now, I'm going to use you as the example, although it's not you. Then you walk over, and you're like, oh, buddy, I was going to do those. It's like, where are you? Because they've been sitting here for 3 days. It's like, if you were going to do them, you would have done them already. Yeah. No, you told me you were going to do them once I've already started, and now you know you don't have to do them because I am going to finish them, and I'm going to continue this. People are it's like, it's not that I'm mad, but it is like, right? And the classic thing, like with the boys, with my friends, like, all right, everybody wants, right? This is a big thing with like the adults when I was growing up wanted me to hold my peers accountable, like for them.
Yeah.
Almost, right? Sammy, can you go talk to them, hold them accountable? Like, sure. Isn't that your job? At the end of the day, though, right? Just be accountable to the things. And like with my friends, like a big thing I say now, it's like, don't tell me you're gonna do it. Just fucking do it.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna clean that. Just fucking clean it. Like, don't tell me about what you were gonna do.
Yeah.
Or what you're even don't. It's like sometimes
Don't
even tell me that you're planning to do this today, because you're setting yourself up for when you don't do it today. Right? Honestly, but I just did that same thing last week with my after action report in the epic battles, right? I was like, I'm going to do the 3 different flanks in the epic battles, and I didn't do them this week, right? So there's even those things, right? And like, the great beauty of my life in the last 10 years is just the pure reflection of hypocrisy that I get sometimes of like, God damn it.
Accountability, you do it fine. Like, the thing is, like, you're not doing those videos. I'm not the same level as those guys leaving the dishes for 2 or 3 days.
Dude, of course not.
Right? Of course not. Like, but I understand holding yourself accountable. It makes yourself much more efficient. You make yourself
right.
better.
And well, dude, there is the thing of like, right? It's like I'm not trying to give the David Goggins speech or preach here. No, but like, right? The thing of being hard, it's like that thing of people have always told me you shouldn't be so hard on yourself, Sam. Yeah. But I'm also like, God forbid I'm not holding myself accountable.
Yeah, that's what they're not doing.
And like we don't have a whole world of that.
No.
And like we didn't grow up in a world where the adults often said, "Hey, do as I say, not as I do." Man, isn't that annoying?
That's a bullshit statement. I would like to rebuttal it. No, but earlier you said, I know we're talking about it.
We can keep going.
Earlier you said
conversation.
It would be best for our leaders or our generals to have some definer soldiers. You said that, which is why we went on tangent on the war stuff and having your own people and the steel inventor guy and stuff. And I agree with you because like if people hold themselves a little bit accountable, Jesus Christ, I'm so hungry and tired and like.
What you're trying to say is if people hold themselves accountable, then I don't, or people don't have to hold them accountable. If you hold yourself accountable, ain't nobody gonna have to be, holding you accountable. And guess what? If you're accountable, nobody's gonna be sitting there looking over your shoulder, making sure you're doing all the shit.
Because we know you're accountable. You count yourself.
Correct.
So like that's the point.
We can talk to how it's like I don't ever get in trouble in my life until I do.
Exactly, until you tell yourself on until you say
telling myself where I just peed in a cup and then go through all the avenues to try and avoid it.
But that's the point of it. That's the whole point I brought you into like the whole war thing because you're right. A lot of our leaders, that's the problem. Everybody's just saying yes sir, how high do you want me to jump? how low do you want me to go and grab your balls? How, like, you know what I mean? Like
Lower.
those are what the thing, and then in return,
Yeah.
you get money. In return, you get resource. In return, you get favor. For that, you become successful because you are given rich round. So, I agree with you. Some people should say, "Hey, that's wrong. You're not holding yourself accountable." Then we would have a better, like. Sometimes I feel like, not hypocrite, but like weirdo, because like if I'm in their position, I feel like I would like to think I would hold myself accountable. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't let the money or the power or the authority crop me. But because I'm not in that position, I'm only in the outside of it. I'm just projecting, like, hey, I would have done this. You didn't do this.
It's like everyone who says they wouldn't have gone to the Epstein Islands.
I mean, like,
If you were a business
I would
entrepreneur
never-
standpoint, I mean, yeah, we'll say that now. But dude, if we were growing up in it, and I'll say it to people all the time, I would love to think, and have 100% of all of the confidence of like, yeah, I would just absolutely lose my shit when I saw what was going on. But a lot of people didn't. And again, who are we to think? And people want to say, I would never do that. Have you ever had any fucking buddy try to attack your dick sexually or try to fucking do it? Because, you know, people say all these things. I would never do such a thing. And they haven't even been close to sniffing a similar situation. Right? The temptations. Whatever those things might be.
Yeah.
Right? So, I know, we got to wrap this up because you
I
got
know.
to get to class.
But we get into like good areas sometimes. Like,
Right. Okay.
But I guess.
But
yes,
the
we should hold
this
accountable.
idea that people, right, like people have this idea without any sort of even close to experience of it, of like thinking that you won't do something or fall into the trap, or right. It's the classic thing too of like how people think they could do a better job than their boss or their leader if they were just in that spot.
Yeah.
It's like, well, go get into their position and see, because most of the time what you find out is like, holy fuck, I was actually a super dick of an employee or a follower to them.
Yeah.
Because this shit is hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
what most people end up finding out.
Yep.
That like, oh, I can't do it better. Actually, I'm just finding out that I was a complete piece of shit to that
Yeah.
person.
And I do that a lot. I actually did that with one of my employee boss. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to say the name, but like wisely.
Yeah.
Like,
No, I was like, go with it right
again.
now because there's going to be something good that comes out of this. I'll close
Well,
it out.
it's just like, in no way I can do better, but like the things I would buy or I would make decision on, but well, I don't look at the grand of the scheme, like paying the whole building and the electric and that, because I get like, why does he keep buying cheap shit? Oh, because he has to save the money for that power bill that is due next week. Like things I didn't care. But then after you look at the big picture, not only you become like what your boss become, and you're like, oh shit, this is a shitty position to be in. Now I'm being a dick to that guy like he used to be a dick to, and he would never understand why I'm doing this because he think I'm just being an asshole. But I get it. I'm never gonna know that position and if I can make that decision. But like, the reality is, Sam, at the end of the end, once some information is presented to you, if those information are critical and real evidence, like a photo that it can't be photoshopped, or tape recording that can't be CGI, you have to take a look at deeper and say like, well, certain things weird. For example, in that island, when you saw all those that dental office, all those face masks and all these, you start thinking like, what the fuck? Like, what would Bill Clinton go there 4 or 5 times? No less, 20 something times. It's kind of a little weird. And top of that, like the prints, like these weird people are like involved. Like, why would certain things should be played? And a picture of a young lady with him and he's denying it in front of national television, when you could say like, hey, I done this, I'm ashamed of it, I'm a real human, and maybe back then I done some things wrong, now I'm gonna move on. And instead of saying that, he denied it, and then email gets released after that, and he's like, oh, I didn't know. Like, who do you think we are? 12-year-old? Do you think we're 5? What the fuck is wrong?
On that note,
there's
buddy,
no self-accountable.
On that note, right?
It's not like we don't want to forgive people or we don't have the ability. We can't trust them to forgive them.
Correct. So let's close this out with this to think about. And because it's what we are doing.
Yeah.
Our purpose with this whole thing. Okay?
Yeah.
Because I'm about to give it all up. Right? And from a legal standpoint, I have, except for once, in all technicalities, just taken the guilt because I was wrong. But we have a legal system that is based on deny until proven guilty.
Yeah,
Instead of show us your guilt and maybe we'll forgive you.
Mm-hmm.
That might be a better approach.
In the long run, that's way better approach.
Maybe. I won't have the arrogance to say yes, but
it's better. Do you want to live yourself having conversation with your tongue twisted every time because you don't want to say that thing you're always afraid you might be judged of?
Correct.
No, I would rather not.
So to wrap this up, yes, all that stuff is
my
good.
Teacher's name.
Correct.
Like,
so
I didn't mean to. I understand. I should have thought of it. I should have had a.
So our proper process of this and what we've been doing.
Yeah.
Okay. All of that. So again, right, the consenting, right, people's information. So because of the conversation we had today, and as you do this edit,
yes,
I didn't want you to edit. Yep. 3 things you gotta look for.
Yeah.
First, you don't gotta take DJ out.
I mean, I can't. Just so many times we said it.
Their names twice. They're the ones that we want to find. I'll listen through it too.
I'll see if we can find those.
But honestly, you don't need to clip them out. I can clip them out. Don't worry about clipping out the names, because as far as what I post, I can clip them out. But it wouldn't hurt to practice it. But just for Gage and Misha, I'll get DJ's consent.
See, now you already
and
said it twice.
Yeah, but this is the end. You're gonna cut it before here.
Okay.
Yeah, like we should have done a dab up.
Yeah, we should have done a dab to end it. We should always do a dab to end it. Okay.
That's all right.
We should always do a dab.